everybody, and welcome back to another Nextlander podcast. You know what I'm going to do? I'm a little warm in here. I got the little air conditioner in here. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I can do that. I'm a damn adult. Look at me. Who has to pay the electric bill? Hi,
I have
Alex.
air conditioning, and I may use it whenever I please, dang it.
It's 75 in here, but you know what? Maybe 72, Brad Shoemaker's where I want to put the air conditioner.
I ran the space heater this morning.
Oh my gosh, it's cold.
That's late May in San Francisco.
Hot damn. It's actually kind of nice outside, a little rainy, but look, I got a big problem. I got adult problems. Actually, anybody problems. I got United States capitalism problems.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is a bit of a wind-up for this story, and we'll, of course, talk about video games and video game news. But really, what is this podcast if not to help us air our own grievances and solicit advice and help from our fans? So, I consider myself I like the narrative that I'm a fairly nice person out there, right?
Yeah.
I like to keep that narrative going, that I'm a genuinely
I'll allow it.
easygoing person. But sometimes I get a little mad. I can get upset. And this weekend was very, very busy. And Alex, we had talked about this previously when I was like, I'm just dragging my ass on this basement. I need to get it done. I'm in like the last 10% of getting stuff out of this basement. And you talked and we were like, just got to do it. We just got to do it. So I was like, look, I just got to do it on, I think it was Thursday morning or Friday morning at like 8:00. I was like pretty like talking to my wife, and we had so much stuff going on the weekend. I'm like, I got to get this stuff out of the basement into the storage unit. And I stormed off and I just started, we have about 20 boxes of books, maybe 25. And she was like, all right, I'll call movers. And I was like, okay, call movers, get an estimate. She calls them, and my wife is good like that. She's just like, I'll call them because I won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
$700. And I was like, no.
What?
I was like, no. So minimum of 3 hours. Like that's
that's like their base rate. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, no. I'm like, it's like 3 trips to the storage unit. I will just go do it. And I stormed away, and I'm like, I'm not paying $700 for this. Fuck my discs in my back. I can go do this. I will lift these boxes out of the basement and put them in our little Prius.
Just make sure you lift with your legs. Think about all that exercise you're getting.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Good
And
cardio.
so I load 9 boxes into the back, put the seats down, load them in there, load the boxes in there, get in the car, get ready to go. Check engine light is on.
Oh.
And so I'm in a bad mood already.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up and I go, check engine lights on. She's like, what? I was like, are you telling me I use this car once every 3 fucking years and the check engine light just happens to be on the day I need to go use this car after loading that? She's like, it wasn't on. Are you telling me?
I think that's what they're telling you.
She's like, it definitely wasn't on before right now. It's like,
okay,
there is no way I loaded these boxes into this car and this light just happens to come on.
I mean,
And
how serious could that light actually be?
How serious could that light be? So we take the car pretty seriously. Again, I am a nervous driver. I don't like driving anyway. And I'm like, so I look in the manual. I'm like, exactly what is this? Like, what are we talking about? Is this a bring it to the person immediately? Or this is like, when you get a chance, bring it there.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that particular light on her dashboard was like, you should probably bring this in. You should probably not drive this.
Yeah, check engine in general is usually you should bring it in. It can mean a lot of different things, but usually those are things that like you should take care of quickly.
I ran through a couple of things first. I was like, okay, anything loose in here? Is the gas cap like, all the way? Is something dumb that's going to, because I looked up and I was like, what, is there anything BSy that could trigger this light, right? And I went through all that stuff. Turns out, no. So my wife, again, she's an amazing person, brings the car in immediately.
Yeah.
With all the boxes in it. And I was like, all right, I guess I don't have to bring stuff to the storage unit. That's pretty cool.
Not yet.
So car comes back. Oh man. This is a 2007, 2008 Prius.
Mm-hmm.
It needs like $4,000 worth of work.
Ooh.
Yes.
Spicy.
So yeah, it's a lot of labor. A lot of this. So initially what happened was I think one of the ignition coils blew and then blew out a bunch of sensors around it. And it's the sensors that were really expensive and a lot of labor. Then there was like a bad hub with bearings that needed to be replaced when they were test driving it to make sure it was good. And these just feel like, it feels like we're in it now. Like, okay.
You're in the 20-year mark. Like, that's when things really everything's going to start falling off of your car, or your car is going to prove to be like apocalypse ready. One of the two.
I think like once you start telling me that like, oh, one of the 4 hubs on the car has gone, how long until the other 3, the bearings and stuff go on there, right?
Right.
So like, it's time. It's time. And Alex, I know you have a similar vintage car, even a little older, right?
Mine's
like
2005, yeah. And I bought it at the end of 2005.
What's the mileage? Sorry, let me interrupt.
I think, Alex, you and I both are fairly low, right? I'm a little higher than yours. Mine's like 120, I think.
Mine's at 95. And the reason I'm at 95 is because I spent, multiple years living in Boston, San Francisco, and New York City, where I did not have to drive all the time. And I wasn't commuting all the time. The only commuting years I had were those first a couple of years when I was still at GameSpot.
Like 120 is not nothing, but like for a Toyota, that's like not catastrophic.
No. And I think we could probably. So what we decided was, I think the trade-in value on that car is around like topping out at like $6,000, right?
Right. And that's in like perfect condition.
And that's in like, that seemed like to be the higher mark. So at some point, am I throwing good money after bad with maintaining this car? Doesn't mean I need to go drop another $40,000 on another car, but it's an older car. It's going to have problems. And we've been saving up since we stopped making our car payments. We've been basically paying ourselves that payment into a savings account to get ready for this moment, because we knew it was coming. And I think it's time. So we paid the repairs on it. And we said, let's get our money's worth out of this $4,000 we just paid. Hopefully, knock on wood, it's something else catastrophic in the near future. And let's give ourselves a year. Then I started looking at car stuff. This seems like a terrible time to buy a used car.
It's not good.
Oh yeah.
This does not seem good.
Like since the pandemic started and completely destroyed the used car market, and I don't think it's ever gotten fixed since then.
Seems pretty bad. Now,
and the new car market isn't much better.
So my wife and I are not car people. Like, we have no, like, it needs to be a new car or any, like, it doesn't need to be a luxury car. For me, my car needs to get me from point A to point B, and it needs to do it safely. And
Well, so I think also in your use case in particular, you obviously have a family to cart around, but those kids are getting older. So you are not talking about 20 more years of like carting kids around and all that stuff. You were talking like probably 10 at the most.
Yeah, and we don't have to worry about car seats at this point, for the most part. We don't have to worry about somebody spilling Go-Gurt all over the seating, or something like that anymore. Like, when we got this car, it was to beat the crap out of it and then drive it into a river, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and we did, and it's
that sounds fun. I want to come.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
When you drive it into the river, let me know.
I mean, it's got that battery, and it's probably not the best
I don't think they want
like,
those batteries in the water. That's not a good idea.
But we are in Jersey, so who knows? So the things that my wife was like, I just want basically the same car again. I want a sedan,
more or less, yeah,
and I want a hybrid or an electric car. And I was like, okay, all right, back up. And she's like, I don't care, you take care of it. And I'm like, okay, here's what I want. It needs to fit 4 to 5 comfortably. Now that we have a dude living in our house and a young lady, but mostly
and a dog that is about the size of a person,
and about a dog, but mostly a full-grown dude who lives in the now. That's like when people get in the back seat, it needs to be comfortable, right?
I don't know if he achieves dude status until the voice fully changes.
Oh, you haven't heard him in a while.
The last time I saw him was probably about a year ago. So
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. No,
so
it's
happened.
dude.
The change of dude has happened. All right. Got it.
He's a good dude, but he's still a dude.
No, I get it.
Yeah. I need a car. I don't know what is up with every car I've ever sat in. I think I have a long torso. I need a car where my head doesn't hit the ceiling when I sit in the
you and I have
seat.
the same thing. We have like normal length legs, but we have long torsos. I have the exact same body type. It's my mom's body type. I'm just a lot taller than she is.
Yeah. I'm like a size 30 to 32 inseam, but 6 feet tall. And like that, and my torso just hits this, it like rubs against the top of the thing. So I have to put the seat back to like lean back so my head's not hitting the ceiling, and then I can't see, like, feels like 30% of my vision is the inside of the car roof.
Yes.
So
to put it into Desus and Mero terms, we have long backs.
I got a long back.
Yeah.
All right. So that I want the car. Our Prius is very low to the ground. I want a car with more clearance. Anytime we've ever done a trip upstate or gone somewhere where the roads are dirt roads or anything like that, and Brad, you probably have driven on more dirt roads back by you. Our car can scrape rocks that are too high and stuff like that, and it's a pain in the butt. So I wanted something a little higher. What I think we came to was we're probably looking into every other car that is on the market now, which is some kind of crossover, some kind of...
Yeah, it's a lot of what cars are now.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of all they make now?
Mostly.
It seems like a lot. I don't know if we're going to go full sedan or not, but something like a CRV, a RAV4.
Mm-hmm.
There was one there, and again, we're not car people, but I looked up hybrid, but plug-in hybrids. And Volvo makes one.
Yeah.
And there's this, I think it's called the XC60 or something like that. Again, I know nothing about cars. They pitch it as a luxury car, and it has a fucking crystal, like they say it's a crystal gear shift. I'm like, all right.
Why?
Could you get that off the car? Could you take that off
Is that
the car?
important somehow?
And that just reminds me of like growing up in Long Island where there was a lot of crystal and like Queens with my grandmother, and there would just be a lot of crystal stuff hanging around.
Crystal marble columns, the whole thing.
I was gonna say, is that like right up there with the Cybertruck's marble dashboard?
I don't know, and it's like I think I like everything about that car, and it's the one we might go test drive. But that, and again, I know nothing about cars. The new one of those, they say, was like $60,000.
Fuck
does that mean it is more expensive on the lot or less expensive? Is this like a thing that's like MSRP, but really it's less, or is it MSRP? But
you might
more?
be able to get them to take a few hundred off the undercoating or something, but like it's probably negotiable to a degree. But I imagine that is what the sticker price just is.
So our budget is probably somewhere between 45 and 55, like to max out, right? Like we've saved,
and optimally maybe not that much.
No. So the thing is, like, we've saved about $30,000 in the last 10 years for the car, like putting money away for the car. So we don't want to take out a huge loan for it, right? Like we don't want to finance a bunch of it, because also I'm sure rates are not great now for financing.
They're not.
Right. So like we don't want to take out something huge. So I think, and I'm saying this because there are people who know more about this out there. If you want to get it back at me, I think that like RAV4 or CRV are like $30,000, or around
between 30 and 35, I think.
And so I don't know. Like I don't know if I thought a plug-in hybrid would be a fun transition car. It's because that would make us probably have to start thinking about or invest in a charging unit for the house,
more electrical infrastructure.
Yeah, and then we'd be ready if we wanted to go a full electric car in the future, right? And
yeah,
I don't know if those credits would apply to a plug-in hybrid, if they're even still around, if now's the time to get it before they're not around. I just don't know. But I have realized is I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do this. I'm excited. Okay, here's the other part of it. They gave us, we had to leave our car there for like a couple of days. They gave us this like modern Camry. I don't know what it is, but it's a, Toyota Camry. The sensors are pretty cool. Like it tells you when
the
like
parking stuff and everything.
It tells you like when somebody's in your blind spot, and like it's got a kind of a really nice backup camera, and it's like,
no, those are the good accoutrement that they have added to modern cars. There's a lot of bad stuff too, but I feel like that is like the one thing everyone universally agrees is that being able to park better and see get notifications when someone's in your blind spot is a universally good thing.
So they even have a thing. I turned them all on. And then my wife came back from driving. She's like, you need to turn all that crap off. I can't drive. And I was like, what do you mean you can't drive? She's like, it just stopped. The car just stops when I try to get behind somebody. I'm like, well, I think it thinks you're going too fast. You're approaching somebody too quickly or something. She's like, yeah, it just starts braking. I'm like, okay, well.
The car is judging you.
It was like you and I have different levels of. She said, Alex, you'll probably appreciate this because I feel like it happens near your house too. She was by there are a lot of roads in New Jersey, side roads, where people can can park on both sides of the street, and so there's basically only one lane, but it's a two-way road.
Usable traffic, yeah.
Of usable traffic, so one person has to pull over to the side. She said that the car just thought I was in a head-on collision, and kept stopping the car as I was trying to pull over to the side because it saw another car coming towards me. So she's like, I would go to pull over and the car would just slow down and stop, and I'd have to hit the gas again to pull off to the side.
I do think maybe a notification is better than just outright taking control away from you. But
she said it would go away if you hit the pedal gun. Anyway, I was like, all that stuff sounds awesome to me. We should get a car with
you
all
want
of
the
those
car to
things
drive for you. I know that.
I kind of don't, but I hear what
you
you're
want to
saying.
be behind the wheel, but you want the car to make all the decisions.
I want the car to notify me if anything is suspect, right?
Yeah.
I want the final destination proof car. That's what I want. I want the car to be like, there's a wobble here. You're behind a truck. This thing could fall off a truck if you're not careful. There's the electrical wires could accidentally fall and snap onto your car. You know, I want it to be thinking about all the things I'm thinking about while driving.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tony Todd will find you no matter what car you're in.
This person who's walking their dog on the side of the road could lose control of the dog, and that dog could just run in front of your car at any second here. You need to be aware of that. So I'm like kind of ready for a new car because my car has none of that.
Yeah.
Like I think it's got anti-lock brakes. You know, that's like as far as it goes. So I don't know, man. If anybody has any recommendations out there, I'm willing. Come message me. I did on our Discord. I went in our Planes, Trains, and Automobiles a channel to talk to some folks, and I just don't know enough about it. There's like, and I don't know the difference between what's a ship box and what's a luxury car, and like what's paying too much and what's not paying too much. Again, that Volvo looked cool, aside from the crystal gear shift thing, but it had like the features I wanted, and I think a plug-in hybrid sounds cool because I'm ready. I'm not quite ready to go for a full electric car, but I want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be ready for it.
I want to be ready. So
This thing looks ridiculous.
The Volvo.
The Volvo?
I just Googled Volvo crystal gear shift. This looks
Is it so dumb?
It looks really dumb.
But it looks bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't look good.
It doesn't even look like a gear shift.
No, it just looks bad. So I do wonder if you could just get that replaced aftermarket with a big
this sucks.
Like a big skull or something like that.
It's like shaped like an electric razor or something.
Or a mouse.
Yeah, that's the thing is like it's not ostentatious and it looks good. It just looks bad. And I don't know why they have it. And I wonder if you could just unscrew it or something and just put something else on there, like an 8-ball, you know, something cool. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Alex, you must be feeling it in the car department. How much money are you willing to put into your car?
I mean, at this point, so like when I had my last check engine light, it was for the exact same reason. There was like a sensor that had blown out in the engine or something, and I had to get it looked at, and that ended up parlaying into another like $1,000-something worth of work and other shit. But like, generally speaking, I have not had to spend a lot of money on this car in recent years. I had one bad expense a few years ago, and that was kind of it. It holds up pretty well, possibly because I don't drive it to death.
Yeah.
But I've been like doing the eyeballing and looking around just in the off chance that something does go wrong with the car. If that doesn't happen, I will probably just keep this car as a second one for a while and then maybe sell it at some point as a used car. I don't feel like trading it in is going to be worth enough to make it like offset anything meaningfully. And it would be, if we got a second car at this point, it would be just so the fact that like me and my partner can drive separately if we need to go do separate things, which doesn't happen that often, which is why we haven't done it yet.
Would you get so I should add, my wife and I are looking at used cars. I don't think there's any reason, unless for some reason the price was fine, to get a new car off the lot. And it
really just depends how long do you want to have it. You know, like used cars, obviously there's a shorter shelf life, generally speaking. But
we were thinking within the last 3 years, like used, but like in a 2023, 4 or 5.
Yeah,
range.
You're probably fine in that regard.
Unless there's like a lemon year. So would you if you got a new car, would you look as a new car, lease, or
No, I don't believe in leasing. Okay. I'm like, if you're just gonna buy a car, buy a fucking car. I always find that a little, I don't know. I'm not here to judge anyone, but I always found the leasing cars thing to be like not a great idea.
Well, from my understanding, and it is low, but this is mostly from talking about people who do think about this stuff. There are certain situations where leasing makes sense, but the market has to be in those particular phases of the moon, right? Where it's like, for some reason, the car value went down, or the car value went up, right? So that if you want to sell it back, I don't want to speak out of turn. There are people who know so much about this stuff, but I'm with you.
I just don't find any necessity in gaming any kind of system like that. Like if I'm buying a car, it's because I want to drive it, not because I'm like worried about its value down the road. Like that's very much my attitude toward most big things that I buy. I didn't buy this house because I was worried about its market value 10 years from now. I bought this house because I want to fucking live in it, you know?
Well, I know some people lease cars because they want the newest car every 2 years, right?
I think that's where leasing makes the most sense. You have to be somebody who just likes swapping their car out a lot.
Like my parents super do not. There. Yeah, and like I don't either. So, but would you get a off the lot fresh car?
I'd probably look for there first. Like I would see what the pricing was like and just see like what was available in this model year or last year's model or whatever. But like if it made sense, I would do it. If it made more sense to get a used car that's like gently used, sure, I would probably go that route too. It just depends on what's available and what I like. I mean, I have not gone deep enough to determine what I like about current cars versus not. I know what I don't like, mostly from renting cars in various places, but that's kind of it.
I guess the thing that we noticed too is for what we're looking at car-wise, we're probably not getting away with a car that doesn't have a big screen, like one of those iPads taped to the dashboard.
There are worse versions of that you can find than others, but yes.
I'm kind of getting the sense the pendulum might start swinging back on that.
Oh, really? I don't mind a screen that's like inset into the dash, but those ones that just have like, it looks like somebody has a laptop popped open.
Yes, it's just a big screen and nothing else.
Yeah. There is an increasing amount of backlash against it. I mean, I think there's like practical concerns around safety there, right?
I hope so.
Like, looks tactile controls on the dash you can operate without looking at them, which you can't say for a screen, but like there's an increasing number of people out there that seem to really hate the big screen, and I'd swear I saw some new car recently that came out where people were like, look, it's got actual buttons and dials.
Really?
Again. Like they might start be moving in that direction a little bit.
Look, again, I don't like even our little Prius here has a screen built into it. The problem with ours is like it doesn't hook into any stuff from a smartphone in a way that's useful. So even the radio is Bluetooth.
I mean, you can always put an aftermarket system in there, but obviously you would not do that now. That is ridiculous.
No. But the bigger thing was like when I'm driving, I would like my Waze or Maps or Google Maps to be transferred to the screen and not
a thing that you have to like put your phone on a stand and do that. Yeah,
exactly. Or pair it up. The biggest problem we have, and maybe this has never gone away, is the way our phones connect to the car audio system, even to do voice navigation stuff. It calls the car. So it basically does a Bluetooth call to the car. So if you're listening to music, it will interrupt the music constantly to give you the direct turn left, turn right. And when you're in New Jersey, you're getting those messages every 2 seconds because the roads are terrible. So you cannot listen to music and have that thing going if you are driving anywhere in New Jersey, because it is constantly just like, I don't know,
in 300 feet, turn right. This turns into highway. Yeah. Merge left onto highway.
300 feet, turn left. Turn right. Turn left.
My lifestyle determines my... Please turn left.
That's right. And so, like, the kids are... I always have to have the phone in my hand and pause it because the kids are like, it's just stop.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if that's a solved problem or not. The reason I bring this all up is help. It's like
help Vinny. Please help Vinny.
I feel a little overwhelmed. We've got a year. We're going to try and take our time. Knock on wood. Hopefully the car doesn't explode. But it is time. And I just like, even if the advice is like, just try and wait out as long as you can because the used market sucks right now, or it is time to lease, or it is, I know a lot of our people who listen know this stuff, and I just don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I'm a sucker. Is what I am. Mm-hmm. I've always been a sucker when it comes to shopping and buying stuff. I have no patience for it. I walk into stores and I walk out with the first thing I see because I just don't want to be there anymore. And that's kind of how I wound up with this car, even though I really like it. It was like, great. I don't know. That's a car. That's a price. Is it available today? Great.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
That's pretty much. You give it to me. The thing I did hear from some folks, which actually sounded like a good piece of advice, was to, if you're going to finance it, to maybe check with a bank to get financing, like a loan, and see what the rates are there, and have that basically in your pocket to be pre-approved before you go in, and see if the dealership can beat that rate before you decide on that stuff. I was like,
I think that's what I ended up doing with my car when I bought it, if I remember correctly.
I didn't even think about that. I just assumed like, I wouldn't go get a bank loan. I just finance it through the dealership or whatever. But that's smart. All right. Thanks everybody if you for suffering through the car talk, Click and Clack and Vinny.
Car Talk is coming back?
Oh, man. That's a sad story.
Wait, is it?
No.
Yeah, I mean...
Wait, no. I don't know everything else going on. I don't know if my heart can take a sad story about Car Talk.
I think the story is one of the brothers started getting pretty sick, and just couldn't do it anymore. And like, was it Ray and I can't remember the two names of the brothers, but and then
Tom and Ray,
and one they didn't want to do it alone. I think that's the story I heard.
Okay,
which is like look, they had done it for ages. They're in the hit movie Cars. You may know. Let's talk about some video games. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with To a T?
Sure.
Okay.
To a
Alex,
T.
Set us up with To a T. Now, Brad, we all played this. Brad, you played it at Summer Game Fest last year?
The GDC.
GDC. Okay.
A few weeks ago. Played the first like half hour.
Okay.
Yeah, I went further than that. I think I'm like up to I at the end of the second episode.
Okay. I'm in like somewhere in the third episode.
So this is the new game from Keita Takahashi and his various collaborators now.
Yeah, does he have a studio currently?
Uvula,
right.
Yeah. And it is a kid's game. And it is a kid's game about a T-posing child who is made fun of for his inability to not T-pose.
Okay. Yes.
I didn't want to come out of GDC saying something along the lines of it's a kid's game, but it's interesting to hear you say that because it is. Well, it did strike me as like very slight. I guess is the word I would use.
Now, when you say kids game, Alex, what age group do you think of for a kids game?
So I don't think this is for like tiny children, but I do think it is probably for kids that are like, maybe 10 or 11 and under.
I'm going to say
under
the younger set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of my daughter who's 10. I think she'll enjoy this, but she likes these particular games. I don't think my son would have at 10. But it is
but so the thrust of it is kind of an adventure game. Like you are this character, you were walking around in the world, you have chores and tasks you have to do.
What did you name your teen?
Teen.
So did I.
Yeah, it defaults to teen, which is amazing.
It's the name for this world. What did you name your dog?
Dog.
Yep.
That makes the dialogue way funnier.
Yep. And all the dialogue is kind of done in a sort of simlish, sort of like, simplified mouth sounds. And the mechanics of it are pretty simple. Like you use the sticks to sort of like control Teen's arms like left or right into various places. Sometimes you have to control his head as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot of just like hold this button, shake your head like this, do this thusly kind of stuff.
So does that stuff never get more complicated? Because in the opening part where they kind of tutorialize everything, it's very, very basic. And like, I'm not saying I needed this game to be QWOP necessarily.
No.
But I was hoping there would be a little more interesting depth to controlling a character with their arms stuck out to the sides.
It's like occasionally you'll get some like quick time-ish, almost like rhythm style mini games and stuff like that.
There's also the helicopter mechanic, which comes along at a certain point.
Twirl the stick around a little bit.
Twirl the stick around, you just turn into a helicopter boy for a little bit.
Okay, that's not bad.
I think as you're going through the events of the day, it's very charming.
Yeah. There is definitely a vibe to it that I think is, one, in very keeping with the Keita Takahashi spirit, and two, is still charming on its own.
But it's a little too slow for me. Like it's a little glacial in its this kid is getting teased at school, and you kind of see where things might be going. But even I think I'm only about an hour and a half ish into it. I'm like, man, still haven't picked up the main beats here, or would feel like the main beats of this story with like would seem like everything's working towards this helicopter spin. I don't know if it ever happens or not, but I'm still in the process of maybe brushing my teeth, eating cereal. And
I do think it's very funny that at a certain point they're just like, hey, that stuff's optional now. You're a big boy, so if you don't feel like brushing your teeth or whatever, I mean, your teeth will be disgusting, but you can do that if you want.
Yeah, or skip it or don't. I think it's a game I want to like more than I'm enjoying.
That's kind of where I'm at with it too.
Yeah, I find everything very charming. And I think to your point, Alex, it's a game I want to show my daughter more than I think I want to play. Like, I think she'll enjoy it. And I'm curious if she will continue going on with it, but it presents well. It's got a fun presentation and a fun world.
Yeah, like it is a little open worldy. Like there are definitely objectives you have to walk toward and things that are sort of like a little bit directed for you. But like it is this little town environment. You can kind of wander around. There's like stuff to collect around the world here and there and occasionally interact with. Though I think maybe the thing I haven't found yet is like any of those interactions that feel like super worth like investigating or like digging around for. I mean, they might be there. I just haven't come into them yet. But I do like the giraffe, who is the sandwich shop manager, who is basically the opposite version of your character, which is I have this giant neck. That's my, light disability metaphor, and I just sort of go around with it. And yeah, some of the things I've been reading about the game make it sound like it doesn't really have a whole lot more to say about it's very light, sort of like, hey, this kid is different and people are being mean to him. And but look at him, he's learning how to, to persevere. Like maybe it just doesn't have much depth beyond that kind of surface level thing, which is okay. I can kind of live with that as long as it's like charming and well-meaning, and it seems like it is.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted the gameplay just to have another gear. So far I haven't found it.
I got up to a part where there's a mini game where I don't know if you got up to this, where you collect the popcorn
I did that.
And I was like, I feel like this is the part where I would pick it up and be like, oh, this is a gameplay-ish part. That
I should be that I'm actually doing.
And I couldn't get number 1 in the popcorn thing. And I was like, I don't even know how you would get number 1 here. This doesn't seem well executed. Did you?
I don't remember if I got number 1 either.
Okay.
I don't think I did.
And I was like, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. And that was a little frustrating because it was one of the moments where there was just gameplay. Like you just like, hey, try and do a thing. There's a calisthenics mini game that was like kind of hard. And also a little frustrating, where it's a rhythm game, but then they stop showing you you have to memorize like left, right, left, right.
Right.
And they start by showing you them, but then you just have to remember what the person said, like left, right, and they just won't show you them all. I'm like, oh man, I'm too old for this. But
for developing child brains, you could see that being useful.
They could do it. And the world is it's cute. I just found it very slow. Like, it's moving around slowly. I'm not sure how long it is. I also don't know why, or the choice to have the songs repeat between episodes. The same song, like the you're the perfect shape, and also the. I
mean, it's supposed to kind of be like kids sitcom like intros. I think is what they're going for.
I mean, the first time I saw that at the beginning, I thought it was very endearing.
It's cute.
It's a very well executed, like goofy sitcom intro.
But they do it. I've seen it 3 times now
with the same scenes and everything.
Whole song, yeah.
Oh, that's not great.
And the giraffe. I like the cook, which is, again, it's a very fun song.
I did feel like they changed one of, or maybe I haven't gotten far enough to see it repeat all the way, but like one of them, it seemed the same, but I thought like some of the lyrics maybe changed, but
I would have to go. I wound up skipping the third one because I was like, I don't know. I feel like this. I watched the second one to see if it were the same, but I think it was. I could be wrong. Seems similar enough. Maybe the clothes were different. You also get the dress every day, which is kind of fun. You get to pick your school uniform. And this is a me thing because I have parts of my body that are hard to bend and have never healed quite right from injury. Specifically, I don't know, Brad, you remember that finger break I got at GameSpots?
Oh, yes.
Still, that finger does not bend all the way in the right way. So there are parts of his arms being stuck out that make me uncomfortable, being like, oh man, like having to turn sideways to get through doors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like what? I feel like I can feel what it would feel like to put those arms down, right? That stiffness of putting the arms down. But he's such a nice kid, and like he's such like a well-meaning kid that you kind of just get over it. Like he's doing his best life.
I think that's maybe the thing that I just haven't really found yet is like something that stands out character-wise for anybody. Like they're all, it's all a little charming and it's all like, pleasant and cute. I like the dog, but it just doesn't feel like anyone has like a really defined personality so far. It just sort of is like, no, that's the T kid. No, that's the giraffe. No, that's this choir that just shows up and sings, and that's just kind of how it is.
The choir's kind of fun too.
But yeah,
the
it's like that
chorus,
stuff. Like I think all that like dressing around the world is really cute and really well done. Like that, to me, is the most like Takahashi-ish shit in the game. I think the problem is like I kind of want this game to be a little bit more something like an Octodad, where it's like there's just more going on in the world as a result of your character being this way and things happening. I don't need to go full slapstick and just like nonstop pratfalls or anything, but it just feels like it's so pulled back from that idea that it just isn't really doing a lot yet with this notion.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like I said, it's a game I think I want to like more than I am. It makes me feel like a bad person because I'm like not enjoying it. Yeah, I'll say it. Because I was like, this game feels boring. That's a cold-hearted, horrible adult thing to say about this adorable little game. But I said it, and don't judge me.
I mean, when you think about Wadham, the last game that Takahashi put out, like it kind of had the opposite problem where it's like everything was really silly and like just nonstop weird, but it was all a little directionless in a way that just did not, I think, fully cohere for some people. This is the opposite thing where it's like everything feels very directed, like there is a real like kind of progression to this and a story they're telling. But the silliness is just not like quite there for me all the way.
There are silly parts.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not silly at all. I'm just saying that like I feel like it's like strangely muted for a game that is about the things that it is portraying.
I think the dog butt is pretty funny.
The dog butt is very funny.
I will never fully dislike a game that just puts a little X on a cat or a dog's butt where their butthole is. So
they do a good poop gag early in the game that I thought was funny. So
yeah, man, it is charming.
Yeah, it has enough of that going on. That again, like the thing I thought of as I was playing was like I should recommend this to my stepsister for her kids.
Yes,
because her kids are like 8 and 5, and I'm like that is probably the right range for this.
It's $20. I think it's on everything. It is out now. Actually, I think it came out this morning.
Yes,
officially this morning.
This recording. Just I think there's a. We'll see. Maybe I'll give it to my daughter and see if she finishes it up. And I don't know if I'm going to continue with it though. But it's cute.
Are you guys like me in the sense that at this point, Keita Takahashi doesn't really matter what he puts out. You will at least put hands on it and try it no matter what it is.
Yeah, I'm always curious to see what he's got next.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
There's a creativity there.
Well, there's a creativity there, but also at the same time, if you really take a long, hard look at his catalog, outside of Katamari Damacy, it's a lot of like, there's something there, but not necessarily like games that people are like super over the moon about.
Yeah, I guess that's right. I mean, I really liked Wadham. Like, I was just
I did too.
The first time I fired up Wadham, I was just like jaw agape at what I was looking at. You know, it was like, what the fuck is this? But I guess you're right, because I also didn't fully stick with that either. I guess, you know, like I played it 2 or 3 times and was like, okay, this is extremely zany, but also, maybe kind of missing something.
Like Nobi Boy was like more of an experiment than anything else.
But I think those things were objective based.
Or actually, was it boy? Was it boy or girl that was I can't remember.
I think girl is the one that made it.
Girl is the one that went to Jupiter and back, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think this is a little more
like a straight up like game, like in that it is like there is a narrative progression happening here.
Yeah, less a puzzle game, but more of but even by that standard, I was going to almost say it's almost like a or at least it hasn't opened up for me to the point where it doesn't feel like a very on rails, do the thing next beat, do the thing next beat.
No, there's a certain amount of like negotiation room in there to kind of play around and do stuff in the world. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep playing it because I am at least a little bit charmed by it, but I don't know if this is going to be a long-term one for me.
Going from to a T to a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. What we played some of this on the grab bag, or you did at least. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown.
Tactical Takedown.
Yeah.
This is the latest Strange Scaffold game. It is their first licensed property, and it is a I mean, I guess the easiest way to describe it would be it is sort of like a Fights in Tight Spaces like. It is a fighting, brawling, turn-based tactical game. There's no real card element to it. Like, it's, each turtle has their own set of abilities you can kind of play around with to navigate the spaces. It's much more about, like, movement like you would in a beat 'em up, which is to say, like, you get that big alert that's like, keep moving, get going. But imagine if that was like, oh, by the way, the environment is literally going to disappear underneath you if you don't get moving.
Right, like the platform or your level, right?
Like the world is evolving based on you meeting certain objectives. Either it's beating a certain number of enemies or, certain types of enemies, whatever. But basically, the thrust is each level is you get a turtle, you have their abilities to play around with. You are trying to figure out, how to get to the end of the space without dying, and also just using those different abilities because they throw a lot of enemies at you. That's kind of the other thing, is that it is like beat 'em up style. They're throwing like 5 or 6 guys at you new at a time. And so you kind of have to figure out how, A, not to get overwhelmed, and B, like, what is the most strategic way to take them all down while also continuing to move through the level.
It's a turn-based action point economy based game where you are, at least from what I watched you play. I have not played it myself, but when I watched you play it seemed like you're managing the field based on how you can spend, but also regain action points and keep enemies stunned, take a player out.
A lot of status effects, things like that you're playing around with, trying to figure out the best way to use them.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tactical takedown game.
Yeah.
What do you think? 2 things. A, what do you think about the game in general? And what do you think about Strange Scaffold's take on a licensed, grid-based, turn-based property here?
I mean, it feels very much them in the sense that it's not a huge scope game. Like, you can tell that you could probably beat this thing in 6 to 8 hours.
Also $20.
Yeah, also $20. But obviously, there is some reverence for the source material here. They definitely nail the personalities of the turtles. And there's no voice acting, but it is like, the text is very much like, this reads like a Turtles comic.
That was my big question, was whether they had voiceover in this or not, because this is their first branded property, right? Or licensed IP that they've done. So I was wondering, like, between the small scope of the game and also just their first time with something like this, if they got like the cartoon actors or anything like that, but I guess not.
No, they didn't get any of the current cartoon actors, and it doesn't seem like it is specifically licensed to, like, the current cartoon or the current movie universe or anything like that. It's just sort of broadly Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, are these their own takes on the character designs?
The character designs are pretty similar to most other versions of the characters. There's not anything really that dramatically different.
Character design is maybe not the right word, but just art style, I guess.
Yeah. It's just a cel-shaded version of these characters.
Yeah. Is there a currently running TMNT comic series, or has there been for a long time, or is that something that only Eastman and Laird could do?
So comic series I can't speak to at all. I have no idea. I thought there was a series that was ongoing on Nickelodeon, though I don't know if that's still on the air.
I think Viacom has that.
They own it.
Yeah, they bought it. Like
property,
Nickelodeon or whoever, somewhere in that chain of corporate ownership. Somebody, they bought it lock, stock, and barrel. But
I want to say, like, I was buying Ninja Turtles comics for my son. So somewhere in there was, I don't know, I forget who the publisher was, if it was IDW or somebody had a series running. Is it IDW?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. But like the newest one is Ninja Turtles Cross Naruto. So I don't know how serious it is at the moment.
There was kind of a cool Ninja Turtles Cross Batman miniseries that was actually got for my kids. It was a pretty good one.
I kind of feel like the Ninja Turtles are best suited outside of like individual movies and ongoing cartoons. They are very well suited to just appearing in other shit. Like they are characters you want to see crossover with a lot of other random shit in comics and cartoons and whatever else.
Archie.
Fortnite, for example?
Yeah, sure.
Fortnite, for example.
Versus Predator. I don't know. Like Teenage Mutant Turtles versus Predator. Let's do that.
They could do it.
They could take them.
Donatello would figure that shit out.
Yeah, he does machines.
All right.
The other side of that, I'll just say, is I think the tactics are pretty fun. Like, it's not an overly complicated game. None of those levels are super long. Generally speaking, I found that if I die once, if I go back again, I beat it because I figure out what I was doing wrong. It's all very legible. It's pretty easy to figure out like what the good tactics are. But at the same time, like they throw enough enemies at you and there's enough going on the battlefield that I feel like I'm not bored with it at all. Is it my favorite Strange Scaffold thing so far? Not really, but I think it's fun. Like, I mean, I'm enjoying it and I actually do feel some compulsion to keep playing it.
And again, for those who aren't keeping track, and don't blame me if it's been hard to, but Strange Scaffold are the El Paso Elsewhere folks with a billion other games.
Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3.
Yeah.
Click Holding.
Do they have anything else announced? Because they have shipped a lot. I mean, they're always shipping, but it feels like they put a lot out quickly, and I don't know that they have much else on the docket that's known right now.
Not that's announced at this time. I want to say Xalavier said they had something else in development, but like this was the current slate of games that they were like. Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion and Turtles were the two he was hyping up through most of the beginning of this year. I don't remember him talking about anything else.
Yeah, actually, they've got 2 more on their upcoming, which I think both were already known. Teenage Demon Slayer Society.
Okay, I've heard that term before, yes.
A turn-based character action game where the only thing harder than growing up is cutting a demon in half next to the person you may or may not have a crush on. All Systems Dance is the other one.
Okay, that one I don't know about.
Which is some kind of rhythm action adventure game.
Okay.
From the looks of things. Like even if you don't play their games, it's still kind of fun to engage in just like strange scaffold watching.
Yeah.
So
what do they got next?
Because there's so much, and it's also different. Like that's the thing. It's not just that they put out so many games; it's that each one is so damn different from everything else.
I Am Your Beast, Life Eater, right? Those are.
Yep. I do think the process of making El Paso Elsewhere maybe put. I don't know. I calling it the fear of God is maybe a little too dramatic, but like. That game nearly killed that studio, like them trying to get it out and done. And I wonder if there's just well, now that we've done this and we've gotten through this, we should just make everything we want to make because fuck it. You know, like who knows where things will go down the road. We might as well take advantage of this. I don't know. They're also, I think Xalavier just can't stop him. Like, I think it is impossible to stop him from coming up with game ideas.
I'm glad they got the opportunity to make a Turtles game or a licensed game.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know? Yeah,
And I think they're doing a good job with the license, and I think that will probably be a nice feather to have in your cap if you want to do other licensed things.
Absolutely.
What if El Paso Elsewhere just blows up when that is it a movie or TV show?
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie, right?
Yeah, well, Keith Stanfield is supposedly starring and producing it.
Like what if that movie is huge?
I mean, it could be really good because I think it. I mean, again, I don't know. There's video game movies run very hot and cold these days, but it's an interesting property, and I feel like they could do something with it.
Can't be worse than that Max Payne movie. What's the drug in that? Angel or Valkyr?
Oh,
Valkyr.
Yeah.
It would be literally impossible to make a worse movie than that Max Payne movie. That is in the running for one of the all-time worst video game movies as far as I'm concerned.
It was pretty bad. All right. Let's take a break and we'll come back, and we've got basically a potpourri of other games here to check in on. Some new, some continuing to be played, but we'll come back after this break and fill up your bags with games. So get the bag ready because we're gonna fill it up right after this. And we are back. Brad Shoemaker.
Hi.
Hot off the heels of a civic duty of jury.
I'm free.
Well, you know, for a year.
Yeah. But clock is ticking.
I don't want to paint the wrong image here because you did a very honorable thing and you served this fine nation of ours in the civic service. But
welcome to Judge Facts. Did you know that the judge in this case was a state employee, not an employee of San Francisco?
I did not know that.
Yes. California Superior Court judges are employees of the state. So he is a state judge assigned to the county of San Francisco.
Interesting.
I found that to be kind of interesting.
Sure.
Considering that the city of San Francisco was the defendant in this case, it was kind of interesting. That's why it was extra interesting to know that like he was not adjudicating an issue around his employer.
No conflicts there.
Yes.
Well, anyway. I don't have a transition. Let's say while you were out there under siege while the jury... okay, I got it. The judicial system does seem like it is currently under siege.
For sure.
But Siegecaster.
Yes, let's cast away any such concerns for the moment. Siegecaster is a random indie game that I became aware of a couple weeks ago. Doesn't seem like it's gotten much attention yet, and the thing that made me notice it when I saw somebody posting about it And this is one of those snap judgments that maybe is not super accurate, but you see some screenshots of a game and you're like, oh, that looks like this and this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What it looked like to me was somebody had taken Vampire Survivors and mashed it up with SimCity.
Oh.
I'm not going to say that's a perfect assessment now that I actually spent some time with it.
Uh-huh.
But I did want to check it out because it looked cool. But it is very much a rudimentary 90s looking pixel art graphics with enemies coming at you from all sides of a big map. Like it's definitely that.
Well, what's the SimCity part?
So instead of moving a character around, you are building. You're not building buildings as such. It kind of looks like it from the screenshots.
Okay.
But really, what you're doing is building walls.
Interesting.
And there are kind of assets on the map that you want to build walls around because every time you encircle one of those assets with walls and kind of connect the walls all the way, then it activates whatever thing you have just encircled and kind of increases your ability to defend your base.
These screenshots are inscrutable to me. I can't tell what you're doing in this game.
So it's like, I'd say late game when it gets really hairy, it is in fact quite inscrutable. Like I have found it to be in fact borderline impossible to play effectively. This game's hard as fuck. I have not beaten the first level yet, despite multiple attempts.
Is it a tower defense?
Kind of, but not exactly. You know what I saw a lot of the user reviews comparing it to, which is not a point of reference I have, is the game Rampart, the classic.
Sure.
Okay,
Are you familiar with Rampart?
Yeah.
Like multiple people were basically just like, hey, somebody made a modern Rampart finally.
Interesting.
Cool. I
never
never understood Rampart either.
Okay, I've never played Rampart, so I can't really speak to that exactly.
Okay.
It's not tower defense because you are aiming and manually firing all of your abilities. Like there is no automated. In fact, I guess it's not even Vampire Survivors in that respect because even Vampire Survivors, like the attacks just happen, right?
Right.
And in this, you are aiming all of your shots. There are 3 tower types. There's archers, cannons, and ballista.
Uh-huh.
And it's a kind of rock, paper, scissors. Like archers are for fodder enemies. Cannons are for, I think, armored and maybe also mechanical enemies, or maybe the ballista is for mechanical enemies, but it's also for large, like big enemies.
Okay. I think I'm starting to understand now. I've had this video on loop. What's happening here? What's the economy like?
So you earn gold passively, but also by killing enemies.
Okay.
And the 2 types of things on the map that you build your walls around to bring into your fold are, I think they're called citadels or something along those lines. And the citadels are pre-existing buildings that increase your gold rate.
Okay.
When you kind of quote unquote capture those.
And by capturing, you mean like build the wall?
Literally just build a wall around. And there's something really weird about the wall building that I have to tell you in a minute that's going to seem very strange.
Okay.
But the other thing besides the citadels that give you more gold that you're trying to capture by encircling with walls are runes. Like it's basically just like archer, cannon, or ballista runes. And the runes are full on roguelike. Like you unlock a new rune and it's like pick one of 3 random new things. And it's like adds ice to your shots or adds like poison cloud or makes, critical hit chance go up or higher damage, that type of stuff. Like pretty basic stuff. And you keep the runes, if I'm not mistaken. Even after a failed run, I think you keep runes because you can combine them in your inventory to make them better.
Okay, I did see
and
this
kind of
inventory and rune shop.
Like the game A, I think doesn't communicate everything as well as it should, and B, it's just so chaotic at the end of a match that I couldn't fucking tell you what's going on anyway. But I believe what's going on is so the enemies are constantly attacking your walls that you've built.
Yeah,
and every time they bust a wall open, I believe it deactivates whatever thing it is that you have encircled with that wall.
Okay, so once they break the kind of contiguous wall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So like I think whichever rune, for example, you activated by capturing one of those rune points becomes inactive when they break that wall unless you go fix the wall.
Okay.
So same for the gold generating things. And I should mention you can pause, you can kind of pause in a build mode, but it doesn't actually pause. It just goes into extreme slow motion.
Oh.
Which is fine early on, but again, when you're getting completely swamped in the end, I don't feel like it actually helps all that much.
How are you getting more turrets, or are there more turrets?
It's all gold based. Yeah, you can build turrets as much as you want, but every time you build a turret, the next one gets more expensive.
And so that always the way?
I've actually found it really hard to keep up with the economy in this. Like I am constantly running out of gold at the end, even capturing as many kind of citadels as I can,
yeah,
or whatever they're called.
Man, this seems like, again, there's only like a very short 30-second video on the Steam page. I just had it looping over and over.
It's an interesting idea. I'm not sure that it's fully clicked with me, partially because of how punishing it is. But you've also got ammo, like all three tower types. You've got ammo, and basically you were trying to build more of those to have more ammo. It does regenerate.
Okay.
But like you only have, I think, 8 archer shots with one archer tower, or maybe 4. I can't remember. But you want to be building more towers so you have more shots to work with. But even that is hard, especially when you're kind of constantly burning gold just rebuilding walls that are getting knocked down. And so here's where things get really strange. The wall segments are Tetris pieces.
Oh.
And they're randomized.
I see that in this video
As if it's a Tetris. As if it's a Tetris.
Yeah, like an L block. Or
really
C block.
fucking weird.
That's interesting.
There's a couple extras in there. There's like a single square block and a couple other like non-Tetris, non-standard Tetraminos.
Mm-hmm.
But by and large, it is literally just randomly doling out Tetris pieces as you're building walls. So you kind of also on the fly have to, like, as you're trying to defend all the shit coming at you, you're also trying to like figure out the best way to repair or place walls to build your base out when you can't predict the shape of the walls you're about to get. It's really strange.
Yeah.
It's an interesting game. Like I can't say I've played anything quite like this, even in like the tower defense space, but
yeah, it's a cool concept.
I don't know that it's quite working for me. It is so punishing. It does have difficulty levels, but I left everything at default just to try to kind of get a feel for the stock experience.
It's a $9 game, we should say.
Yeah, it's inexpensive, and it looks, like I said, it looks intentionally like something out of the 90s, like tiny sprites, all pixel art and stuff. They unlocked level 2 for me before I failed to beat level 1. Like you can go on to the next level, but I kind of stubbornly wanted to try to master level 1 first. I think I've gotten to wave 31 out of 40 is my best on level 1 so far. It's really fucking punishing.
I don't know if I'll like it, but I kind of want to try it.
I would be interested to hear what you think about it. I should say, like, there's quite a bit of skill in shooting the enemies because the projectiles all have travel on them.
Oh man,
so you really have to lead the enemies, and there are runes that'll speed up the speed of your shots and stuff like that helps. But
well, when you have multiple turrets, are they all firing at the same time?
I wasn't actually sure about that. I looked at some of the user reviews to try to intuit what's going on there, and it sounded like I thought it was whichever turret is closest to the enemy that you're aiming at is going to fire, but some people said they go in a rotation.
Oh,
like when one runs out of ammo, the next one goes or something like that. So I'm actually not sure about that.
Okay.
It's a really interesting game. I might try it again and see if I can get better at it. It also seems like grinding out more runes would certainly make it easier as well.
Yeah, but then you got to go spread yourself out that map. Yeah, you mean to keep them.
Well, so that's the thing. I haven't found a way to pull up your inventory of runes in the middle of a match, so it's actually not clear to me which runes are active at any given time or like what's going on with that.
Interesting.
It's neat, and again, it's only $9, so it's like pretty low barrier to entry.
Yeah,
but it didn't like full on. I kind of was like quietly going because it's got like 20 user reviews on Steam. I was like, I'm going to find the next Vampire Survivors.
That's right.
I wasn't actually thinking that to myself, but it was more of a like, wouldn't it be cool if this turns out to like be super addictive the way that game was? And like,
how
that would
come
be
nobody's
fun.
talking about this?
Right, that would be fun to find a new one of these, but it has not quite clicked for me yet.
Okay, Siegecaster. I'm curious about it now.
Yeah,
that's available on. Is it more places than Steam?
I think it's just Steam. I'm not 100% sure.
The other thing you have here is Warhammer 40K Boltgun Words of Vengeance.
So they made a typing game.
Finally.
More accurate to say they turned Boltgun into a typing game. Like it is just that game, except it's on rails. Boltgun is that kind of Doom-like, very fast Warhammer 40K.
It had like kind of a voxely look to it.
Boomer shooter, if you like.
Stop it. Yeah, like very, very, very pixely.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is free on Steam.
It should be.
And
favorite price.
Yes, having played it absolutely, this should be free. Like it's a trifle. It is like each level is on rails, like the character just moves on their own on a predetermined path. Like all the power-ups are just in your path as you go. It's 100% just type the word to kill the enemy.
Oh, really?
But all the words are straight out of Warhammer. It's like Mechanicus and like idleness begets heresy.
Oh my god!
And shit like that is kind of what you're typing constantly in this.
Okay,
that's great.
a lot of like faux Latin and stuff like that.
That's
Or
so
maybe,
dumb.
maybe real Latin. I don't know. Also, Rahul Kohli's name was in there at some point as a word I had to type to kill somebody. I don't know why. Oh wait, isn't he a huge Warhammer guy?
He might be.
I think I maybe somewhere in rattling around upstairs. I feel like I remember he was a Warhammer fan. Anyway,
I see this one that just says thin your paints.
yes,
It's a great.
yes, it's just
There's
it's
some
silly.
jokes in there, some jokey
like,
jokes.
yeah, like there's there are spots where you could be fighting enemies, but there's a barrel in the background. So if you're kind of paying attention, you can type to shoot the barrel instead of the enemies.
Okay.
There are some spots where you'll have to like on a boss fight, like a boss that's lobbing projectiles at you that have single letters on them. So if you just hit the letter, you can shoot down the projectile before it hits you. Stuff like that. Like it's kind of exactly what you would expect a Doom-like game to be adapted into if it were a typing game and kind of a
And free.
typing of the dead style thing, but it's very simple.
Do you need the original, or is this?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I already have the original on Steam, so I actually can't say, but this showed up as free for me. I don't know if it's free for everybody or
on
not.
the Steam page in a window. It definitely doesn't. Or I'm not seeing you need to own the original, so I think it just might be free.
Yeah, it's showing as free to play for me in
That's cool.
Incognito window. Yeah,
I always
That's-
like a typing of the dead ish.
yeah.
It's always a good gag.
Like at the so. I can't remember what the loading screen was pretty funny in a way that I now can't remember. This is like spelling mistakes may be punishable by death type stuff.
Great. That's a fun one. So that's
Yeah.
Warhammer 40K Boltgun Words of Vengeance. The original was fun too.
Yeah, that's a good game.
If you're into that type of shooter. All right. I think we're up into the what else has been keeping you busy section of this part. And I've been playing a decent amount of Sunderfolk with the kids. Really enjoying that. We played that with Abby, Russell, Alex, and I played it
last week.
Last week, and the kids and I kind of dig it. It was one of those things where my daughter saw me boot it up, and I was playing it, and she was like, "Eh," and then she was like, "Can we try that game again?" And then she's like way into. She's like, "This game is
Nice.
super fun," and my son's into it, and it's just a fun.
What are they playing as?
So I'm playing as the Crow Wizard, Bertimus Prime, and they're playing. My daughter's playing as the Archer. I think it's a Ranger. I think it's like a gazelle or some horned creature. My son is the Pyromancer, the flame lizard guy. And it's good. It's like good teamwork, good fun. It's implemented well. It just works because it's the game where everybody's playing on a tablet or a phone, and it just seems to work well. And it's an encounter, and then you put it down. And if anybody missed it when we talked about it last week, it's very Gloomhaven-esque in terms of its combat, but it works well, and the technology just seems to work, which is great.
Yeah. Is there some kind of loophole? Do they get their screen time restrictions relaxed if it's like podcast material?
They do.
Is it
Okay.
like, hey, Dad needs to talk about this on the show.
They
why
do.
don't you come grab a controller?
They get screen. So my kids usually get free reign for screen time on the weekends, but during the week, they will, if I'm playing a thing in the evening, yes. Or watching something for the Watchcast that they are allowed to watch, they can join us and watch. So, yes. And they give them an inch, they take a mile. They're like, can we play Sunderfolk again tonight? I'm like, no, we'll wait for the weekend. I'm busy tonight. Oh, come on.
Hey, look, you're just prepping them for a life of content.
Yeah, everything's content.
Everything's going to be content.
Can we how'd you do on your test? Wait. Can we film this?
Can we do the reveal on TikTok?
God damn it, that would make me so sad. Yes, but they appreciate it when now they're older and I can sit and just play it. When they were younger, I wouldn't do it because it always felt mean, like an after dinner thing. Now they go to bed later. So after dinner, I might just sit and start playing a game, right? And I used to feel bad because it'd be like, all right, you can watch this thing, but you're just going to watch me play. Now I don't care. Now they're older. They can just sit and watch me play if they want. watch me play Claire Obscure, that's fine. You can. You're old enough. You can watch it. What else? Let's see. I continue to peck away at Claire Obscure and Hollow Knight, both of those games. Claire Obscure, much more of a meatier thing to go for me. Hollow Knight, I'm just kind of wrapping up some DLC, the Grim Troop stuff on that. So I got all the charms in Hollow Knight. I finished that. I've got pretty much everything I want to do. Just finish up that DLC, and I'm going to call that one quits. I'm looking at the list of stuff here. That's kind of it for me, aside from some other things I've just been touching. But Brad Shoemaker, on my list of notes here, there's one game that has not left, and that's Fortnite. What's going on, man?
Will it ever leave?
What's going on?
This will be the last Fortnite update for some time.
Okay.
I can tell you.
It's okay. I have no problem.
Whatever.
Two things here. I'm gonna have zero problem getting everything on that battle pass, and I mean everything. I already got everything I want. I got General Grievous. I got alternate Senate robes Palpatine.
Okay.
There's I need 6 more levels to get literally everything you can unlock this season.
Got that Fortnite battle pass.
That is going to be no problem at all. So I've achieved my goal of getting some characters I can now use on a stream if we ever stream Fortnite again, which is kind of what this was all about.
That's right.
I was so fucking jealous. I was so jealous of Will's Anakin.
Yep.
Last time that I was like, damn it, I want a character or two that's stupid.
Yeah. Now you got him
to play this game with. And I've achieved that, which makes it all the more fucking ridiculous that I have now put money into that game.
Hell yeah.
It happens.
You didn't put money, you put V-Bucks.
Where do you think the V-Bucks came from, Vinny?
He earned them. He didn't earn them.
I feel like such a moron because they got me.
Would you? Well, you were super close to the end. What
I
happened?
We all get God eventually.
I wanted 1 or 2 things from the store, and they're all time limited, so you kind of have to act.
Yeah.
I missed Anakin, as a matter of fact. He was in the store early on this season. I was like, maybe I should, if I want to put money into this, maybe I should get him. Too late. I already missed my chance on that one.
They cycle back around, though.
Some people on the Discord... Thank you to people in the Fortnite thread on the Discord, by the way, for some of their tips. Have been invaluable in leveling. But yeah, they implied that they might pop back up briefly before the season's over, but you have to check all the time to try to catch that. Anyway.
Yeah.
I went and added the V-Bucks.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just do the $10 option. I'm going to get myself 1 skin, treat myself.
Treat yourself.
What if you got the $35 or $40 option and got 22% more V-Bucks?
I mean, it's the best option.
No, it's not.
Oh, what is it 99?
What if you bought the $90 option and got 35% more V-Bucks?
Did you do that?
Guess which one I bought?
The $99 one.
Well, it's only 90.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Hell yeah, that's real Fortnite.
Man.
Look,
you're a real Fortniter.
There's always been a game that has gotten us at various times in our life. You shouldn't be ashamed of it.
I mean, and I bought some skins, even though I already have 3 cool new skins to use from this season.
You got the V-Bucks. What are you going to do?
Now I'm like, maybe I should buy a song or two. When you win, I mean, I've won probably a dozen victory royales at this point, at least.
Yeah.
You want a cool song to play when you win. Even though there's 2 people spectating you for about as long as it takes them to hit ready on the next match.
Does that mean we're playing Fortnite again with Will?
We should probably play. I mean, the
you got to show off those skins in your songs.
I'm kind of having a good time with it, although I am going to probably put it down for a while after this, but I've still got probably enough I could probably buy another 6 skins or something after this.
Save it for the next battle pass.
I bought Jar Jar.
All right. Well, there's some choices we can't get behind. Okay.
Jar Jar's first time in the game.
That's does he talk?
How do you not? Not so far.
Okay.
Not so far.
No AI Jar Jar doing the extremely problematic voice.
even
some things AI is like,
yes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I bought Princess Leia.
Okay, great.
Because she's got her. There's only one of her. There's a whole thing here. There are 3 different Lukes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are other characters like Leia that have 2
is
totally
one of them Luke, or is
sadly,
one of them bigger Luke?
No, sadly,
Okay.
I would love clone Luke, but no.
Right.
But a lot of the single skins you can buy for roughly the same price will have 2 totally different looks within them, changeable styles. So the default Leia is her A New Hope getup, but the alternate, which is why I bought her, is I still don't know how to say this. Her bounty hunter getup from the beginning of Return of the Jedi in Jabba's palace.
That's my favorite Leia.
How do you say that? Boosh?
Oh, I don't know. I just
Bosch?
call her. Bosch is what
it's like BOUSSH or something like that. I don't know how you're supposed to say it.
Holding a thermal
An amuse
detonator.
bouche.
Anyway, I had that action figure.
Yeah, with the helmet. The
Yes,
big
hell yeah.
squishy
Like
helmet.
that crazy visor helmet thing.
I think that's a cool looking character.
Yes. And I hadn't seen a single person use that in that game. And I was like, man, I had that figure when I was 4.
Is she wearing the helmet?
Yeah. Oh,
Cool.
you can both. You can do both. You can
There you go.
like they actually let you edit the skins quite a bit. There will be like helmet on, helmet off, like, with
Okay.
cape, without, whatever. There's a whole customizable Mandalorian in there now that everybody is using because you can totally trick that thing out. Anyway, still got all this money. What else do I buy? I bought like Shambles C-3PO in the netting.
Wait,
Remember
that's playable or that's a backpack?
No. That's a backpack.
Okay.
Remember from the end of Empire when 3PO's in
Chewbacca.
pieces
Yep.
in the backpack netting? So he talks. I've got that now.
Yep.
What
Is he? What does he say? Is he like turn around?
I haven't used him
Okay.
yet. Such an embarrassment of riches here.
Don't drop there. Don't drop there.
That's right. Someone's behind you shooting at us.
Anyway,
Oh,
still got all these V-Bucks.
well, you could. They don't go away, right? They don't
No,
expire.
absolutely not. Yeah.
And you can use them to buy the battle pass if you need.
That's right.
You're in the system, baby.
From now on, next time there's an Optimus Prime or a Sub-Zero or whatever, like I know what to do now.
Buy more V-Bucks.
Well, I got these, I'll
I'm
sit
saying,
on these. And I can
always get more.
They don't
they
expire.
they just have a subscription now also, right?
I did not know that.
They
I
also
believe
just
it.
they also just have Fortnite Crew, which is just $12 a month and gets
Oh
you
my
the battle
gosh.
pass every month
Oh my gosh.
or every season, gets you like built-in benefits. I'm not going to subscribe to that.
Is it still on the Apple Store? Did something happen there? Did it
It
come
went
down?
back. It came back.
Yeah, it's up on
It's
iOS.
back. Okay, I thought
Yes.
it came down again.
Yeah. I don't think if it did, I missed that.
Oh, I might be
I don't-
wrong.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, now you can give Epic your money directly.
Yeah.
From there, if you so wanted. Fortnite
Yep.
continues to be a very popular game.
I'm the problem. Now I'm part of
Yep.
the problem.
Well, speaking of putting money into stuff, I bought that next War Bond from Helldivers 2.
The Super Earth stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you know about that update, but they added weapon progression in
What?
Helldivers.
Oh,
Yeah, you can now level up your weapons and then drop points in them to customize your weapon, like with new scopes and
wow.
and stuff in that game.
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. Some guns have different attachments you can put on. Some don't seem like upgrades because they're just like, oh, this gun had a good scope on it. Why would I want to go to the red dot scope when it had the zoom scope on it already? When it out of the box, right? So they haven't like busted down a gun back to its like iron sights, but iron sights might be a level 5 thing on a gun. And you're like, why would I want an iron sights?
Yeah, I was going to ask if the attachments are like resource or time sinks. You'd have to grind for them.
So you have to grind the level on the gun and then you have to spend requisition points on it. But also for some guns it works and some it doesn't. It seems like maybe they're still figuring this out. They'll have a grouping pattern on the side of the screen when you're looking at the gun to be like, with this attachment, here's a grouping during a fire, during emptying a clip, because they have stats on the guns now that'll be like ergonomics or like stability that change with the attachments you put on. So it's a weird thing, man. It's like a lot in there. I guess it could encourage people to use different weapons. To be fair, I leveled up a gun pretty quickly, got like 2 levels in like 3 missions or so. I think you might level up faster if you extract and complete all, based on your star. I don't know how that's all working, but Super Earth is under siege.
So I hear.
Cool thing about playing on Super Earth, you're not alone on there. There are other like NPCs that are like whatever the not Helldiver force is.
Oh.
The Earth Defense Force is out there helping you out and firing away.
Do they actually kill stuff?
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
They're
All
not
right.
terrible.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think the city stuff is never my favorite in that game.
Yeah, I
it doesn't
agree.
look good.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't look great. Everything's almost like a original Unreal blocky level of
Sure.
of texture, but
or like Halo 2 or something.
Yeah, it's a little too few curves or something. It works really well outdoors and in the jungle environments and stuff, but the city stuff always a little funny. Anyway, that's the Helldivers 2 update. Speaking of spending money, I think I have every war bond in that game, so that is getting in there.
Live service.
You know, when you play a thing and you're like, I mean, that game, to be fair, that game was not free. So, unlike a Fortnite, which, you know, even if you put $100 in, that's lifetime $100 you spent on Fortnite. And Helldivers, I think, was $50 at launch.
Or I think it was 40.
Was it 40? For the one with the cool machine. Yeah. Anyway, that game's still pretty good. Pretty good.
Who's ready for Elden Ring Night Rain? Let's just turn everything into live service.
I think I am.
I am extremely curious to check that out.
Very curious. That's on our Patron's Choice poll. Maybe it's a little bit of an unfair thing to put on the Patron's Choice poll since it is launching on that Friday, but
hey, it's just the timing just worked out.
And I want people to play it with, and if it skews the poll, so be it.
Looking at I believe we will be playing Night Rain on Friday.
Okay, cool. We'll get to the other stuff on there. It always makes it back around. But yeah, I'm excited to check that out with you guys. But for now, I'm looking through this list of games. I said in our write-up for this week for the schedule, I'm in a real nice comfort zone for games. There's a lot of adventure games out there that I'm not talking about here, but are floating in the background. That Duck Detective game. Did you know there's been 2 DLCs for that case of the Golden Idol stuff that have?
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I think I heard the first one came out, but
the second one just came out.
Didn't they announce 5 of them at launch?
There's a season pass you can get. There's that in the background. I still have that Old Skies from the Wadjet Eye that I'd like to play and finish that up. There's a good amount of adventure gaming to be had out there. Not to mention, I'm really enjoying Claire Obscure and just having a good time out there. And I'm not sure what the next thing to rattle me or throw me off from some of these games is, but we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be Night Rain, where I'm just going to be like, I got to put everything down and Night Rain it up.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. You never know. All right, let's take a quick break here, and we'll be back with the news, so stick around. All right, we are back, and it is time for the news. Some good news, some surprising news, some new news, some breaking news, some weird news, and we're not even going to cover that there might be a Persona 4 remake. Old Yuri Lowenthal out there dropping hot bombs.
Why would you do that remake and not get him involved? What is
Who is he? I mean, this is revealing my extreme ignorance of Persona 4, but who
he's
was he?
Yasuke.
Yeah. Okay.
So, hey, man. It's golf clubs. It's a lot of people.
Right.
It's a good character. Character. Anyway.
It seems like he's just waging a public campaign. Kind of like him saying, why wouldn't they get me if they're going to do that?
And also people being like, there's a Persona 4 remake happening. That's yeah, we'll see.
He's got nothing to lose at this point. If they're not bringing him back, might as well just throw it out there.
That's right. Other breaking news, again, nothing else confirmed about that. That was just on a social media platform. But this just came out mere minutes ago, at least at the time of this recording. But EA is canceling the Black Panther game and closing Cliffhanger Games.
What the hell?
Studio behind it. This is according to IGN's news here. Rebecca Valentine with this story. What is going on?
I think that's about it at this point. This just happened while we were on the break, pretty much.
Yes.
I guess.
So this game's been talked about for a while. I mean, I don't think we've
literal years now
seen too much of it since it was announced.
I don't think they've ever shown gameplay at all.
It was a logo. I think that was it.
Yeah, did this even have a CG cinematic trailer?
I don't think so.
It may have had a teaser of that nature, but I don't think I've ever shown a single bit of gameplay.
Nothing meaty, no.
This was okay. Maybe I was thinking of something else. This wasn't the one where they were no, I'm thinking of a different game. You're right. There was running around a rooftop as Black Panther. I think that was Black Panther in something else.
That might have been
Marvel
Midnight Suns.
No, isn't that that's the 1943?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
right.
Yes.
That because that's original Black Panther, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
what I was
Marvel.
thinking of.
I kept wanting to call it Marvel 1943, and I was like, that can't just be the title, right? But it totally is.
What is that? Where
What
is
it,
that?
or when is it?
Where is it?
It got delayed. It was supposed to be this year.
Okay.
Yeah, that
It
got
was-
bumped to
I think it was-
next year.
I think it was like November, but yeah, that has been bumped next year now.
Okay. So can you guys help me remember who Cliffhanger Games is? Because they're assembled from
Cliffhanger,
another team.
It's ex-Monolith.
I believe, yes. I believe Cliffhanger was, do you remember when we talked about Monolith getting shut down not that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
That we talked about, and I think like Jason Schreier had reported on this and stuff, that a lot of the founders had left Monolith at some point during the chaotic Wonder Woman development and had gone and started Cliffhanger at EA.
Mm-hmm.
That's Cliffhanger.
And I don't know what bearing that would have had on how Black Panther was designed in terms of like, was that going to look a lot like what maybe the Middle Earth games looked like from Monolith? Who can say?
Okay.
I guess we'll never know now.
Yeah.
Seems like what we have so far is, in addition to Cliffhanger and the Black Panther cancellation, is according to Rebecca Valentine's story here on IGN, EA is also laying off individuals on its mobile and central teams. Didn't give an exact number, though it sounds like the quote out of EA is, this will affect people we've worked with, learned from, and shared real moments with. We're doing everything we can to support them, including finding opportunities within EA where we've had success helping people land in new roles. Again, this is all happening pretty quickly here. In terms of
I think
this recording.
The key quote from this email is that they're doing this in order to, quote, sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities.
What does that mean?
I can tell you, apparently, and again, this just happened. I'm just skimming the story as we're talking about it. Apparently that means Battlefield, The Sims, Skate, and Apex Legends.
Not Mass
Don't forget
Effect.
Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Because those are, is Mass Effect also mentioned?
It's
Yes,
not
okay.
mentioned, but that is one of the only other things they have in the hopper right now.
Okay. So we don't have the full text of the email in front of us. This is kind of
Yeah.
quoting selectively. Yeah, well, this says, reassures they will continue to invest in the Iron Man game at Motive and the third Star Wars Jedi game from Respawn, while BioWare works on the next Mass Effect. So, okay, yes.
But in terms of like
Anyway.
single player games, they have Mass Effect, they have Iron Man.
Yeah,
That's it.
I guess so.
And now look, we have never saw this Black Panther game, so I cannot tell you anything about the quality of it or where development on that game was headed. It is interesting to me that they are deciding this is the thing that's not going to work. Black Panther, one of the most popular Marvel franchises of all the current Marvel franchises. Both those movies did very well. Like, Iron Man is, in a way, I'm going to say, maybe slightly old news even compared to Black Panther, but at the same time, I can see an Iron Man game totally selling well as well. It's just interesting to me that they are just shit-canning this thing entirely.
Yeah, because
Of all the projects they have in the hopper right now, that's the one they're like, okay, we're not doing this.
yeah, again, we don't know any of the internals or what happened here, but it's it's a licensed property, so you have
Yeah, a
some
big
kind
one.
of some kind of deal to produce this game, and then so some contract has not worked out, and then I
Yeah.
assume, and then
Well, they had a 3-game deal with Marvel. Like, it was Iron Man, it was Black Panther, and it was something else that they haven't announced, I think.
and then there's B. There is some sunk cost into this game already because it has been in development for a little ways here,
And it's an open world game, so there were a lot of people working on that thing, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, again, to abandon it and steer the ship a different way, that's a pretty big move. That's a big ship to steer out of the way.
I mean, on one level, it's maybe a minor indictment in where video games think the Marvel thing is going at this point. Like, do they not necessarily think that those games have enough to get people interested because maybe the Marvel universe is not as omnipresent in culture as it was even a few years ago? I don't know.
Or maybe Disney and Marvel were like, this is not working out. This is not going the direction we wanted.
It could be, but this feels more like an EA move than it does a Marvel move. I feel like Marvel would be perfectly happy to cash in on whatever that deal was and have that game come out because it's good for them kind of in most contexts, unless that game is a complete fucking disaster.
Yeah.
But this feels more like EA continuing to chip away at the shit that isn't their billion-dollar franchises. Like, that isn't their proven billion-dollar franchises.
Yeah, Skate is a really weird inclusion in that list of properties, though, because, like, how long has it been since Skate 3? A very long time.
At the same time, though, it's the thing people have been yelling at them the most about that is not related specifically to FIFA or Madden.
Yeah, 2010 was when Skate 3 came out, so that franchise has been fallow for a while now, and it's presumably also not a live service or ongoing thing unless Skate 4 is going to be very different.
I mean, it'll probably be multiplayer, but yeah.
And they canceled their next Apex versus Titanfall thing, right?
Yes.
So there's a Titanfall like extraction shooter was the rumor of what they were working on.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on inside EA and what I don't want to misquote, but I also don't want to repeat exactly what they said. Sharpen their focus.
Yeah,
means.
Do you still think EA wants to get bought?
Possible. That was the rumor, right? Was the rumor that like Disney was looking at them or something like that?
I'm sure they've had conversations with a number of big conglomerates about the possibility, but just everything EA has been up to over the last couple of years really has this feeling to me of we need to offload this company eventually, and we need to make sure that only our most banger billion-dollar sellers are the things that are attached to that sale.
Tighten the books.
Yeah.
Take a loss on this one.
Yeah, I'm not saying anyone actually will buy them, but I do feel like these are moves intended to make them more saleable.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they had market research that just showed, like, for whatever this was costing, it was not necessarily going to be the gigantic hit that they wanted. I don't know.
Where's Schreier? Need somebody on the inside.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm sure that news will get out there at some point.
I would assume we will hear, and I have no reason to believe there was anything troubled about the development of the game.
No, they haven't said anything, so we don't know.
I'm sure we will hear at some point something about how it was going or what it was looking to shape up as.
Maybe they had shifted gears to make a Black Panther extraction shooter.
Possibly.
The market is dead.
It's maybe not the move I would make.
Yeah. Or maybe, like you said, Alex, maybe some of the Marvel stuff is just not have as much traction as it used to.
I do think it's it's not funny because people are losing their jobs over this shit, but I do think it's interesting that the fortunes of the Marvel universe, a lot of these games got greenlit at a time when that was just starting to go down the curve a little. And it's like things haven't fully normalized there. And I feel like the market research that greenlit those games was no longer applicable by the time they were in development.
Yeah.
It's pretty fast. It was kind of a pretty fast, though people do like that Thunderbolts movie.
No, I'm not saying there's no Marvel stuff that anyone likes anymore. I'm just saying it's not the thing where like everyone is freaking out because they're trying to figure out which of the 5 movies coming out a year they're going to go see.
Yeah. All right, that's EA.
Actually, real quick, apropos of not much other than EA and live service, have you seen what's going on with Battlefront 2?
Wait, did I? I feel like something happened with Battlefront 2.
It's like blew up for some reason that nobody seems to be able to pinpoint.
It blew up?
Oh,
like
yes. And then people said they would come back to work on it, right?
No. Like people are playing it like crazy right now.
I thought the devs said like if they asked us, we'd come back and work on it.
Maybe that happened in response to this or something. Like Battlefront 2 has been one of the most played games on Steam for like the last week or something.
What happened?
I have nobody. I don't know, and I'm not sure anybody quite knows exactly.
Maybe Fortnite got
was
people
there a sale?
But like there wasn't that quite conspicuously. There was not a sale, which is even weirder. Like
so what I heard maybe Andor was pumping it up a little bit.
So like I am certainly like feeling pretty Star Wars pilled at the moment between slowly getting through Andor and this Fortnite season and stuff. So maybe people are just like thinking about Battlefront or Star Wars a lot right now. But like, and again, this is Battlefront 2. Let's be clear.
2017's own.
2017's poster child for exploitative loot box practices.
Yeah.
Like the thing that broke the industry.
Like the game that like spurred the EU to investigate this shit.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, they stripped a lot of that stuff out in response, but like now, like it's just people are just, I think it's just like a solid Star Wars shooter that looks really good and is like kind of cinematic and exciting, you know? And I think a lot of people are just saying like, hey, here's this game just sitting here waiting to be played. It's not like, ironically, it is no longer rotten with microtransactions and season passes and stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't quite know what's going on there, but it's weird. I don't look at Twitter that much these days, but I pulled up my For You feed last night and it was like full of people excitedly posting clips of their Battlefront 2 matches. It's bizarre.
This is what the people getting back together said. Somebody, I guess, on a Reddit or something said, what BF2 dev said they'd come back with Matt's Helgholm? I don't know who that is. Saying, me, and having heard it around my group of ex-colleagues, we want to get the gang back together. So we'll see how are things going at EA.
Well,
maybe. Look, they're all Disney properties.
Yeah.
So somebody get John Drake on the phone and see what we can happen for a Battlefront.
I mean, Star Wars is under his purview, so I think you actually do want to talk to him about it.
Right. Here's half joking, kind of not.
For friend of the show, Janina Gavankar, posting about Battlefront 2.
Great.
She's in it. She was in the single player, posting about like Battlefront 2 broke its all-time concurrent player count on Steam today, 4 days ago. Game is 8 years old and has not been updated for the past 5 years.
Is Battlefront 3 written on a whiteboard somewhere?
I don't know.
Surely there is something.
I mean, I'm literally looking at a post on the subreddit. Me playing Battlefront 2, even though I'm terrible, to boost the server count and spark interest in BF3.
Well,
I don't
see how that goes.
What's
strange
Andor's
times.
Name from Andor?
What do you mean?
What's his full name?
Cassian Andor?
Yeah, put Cassian Andor in Battlefront 2.
I could see that happening.
All right. Well, that's EA closing down cliffhanger and ending work on the Black Panther project. A little Battlefront news in there too. Weird world we live in.
What the fuck is going on with EA?
Nobody knows.
Like I kind of wish I had put Battlefront 2 down on for my patrons poll choice.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite aware when I wrote that poll of the groundswell.
He's just gonna get in there, and
maybe next week or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we could always have a redo for the poll and say
it's not going anywhere.
But this one caught me off guard.
Oh man, this sucks so fucking much. Do you know when I got the message about this?
On the jury stand.
Sitting in the box waiting for the verdict to be the verdict was kind of in the process of being read, and my watch buzzed, and I looked down and it was somebody I know contacting me saying that Battle Aces had been canceled. It was a lot to process all at one time.
So fill in for those who haven't kept track of Battle Aces and your playing of it and what it is all about. Can you kind of just do a quick recap?
It's the 10-minute StarCraft.
Yeah.
How unfortunate that it took me until after the game was canceled to be able to summarize it that succinctly.
And it's
come up enough times on here. Uncapped Games, I believe. I don't know why. Yes, Uncapped Games.
And they were ex Blizzard devs?
The lead designer on this or the director of this was one of the multiplayer designers of StarCraft 2.
Okay. And
this studio was started by Tencent or owned by Tencent.
And the top level was, yes, like you said, I would say 10 minutes from what you've played and shared with us and what I've played, maybe on the outside.
Yeah, like capped at 10 minutes, I should say. It was like 10 minutes max per match, but it was more like 5 or less in a lot of cases.
And a little bit of units capped at what, 5 units per side?
What do you mean?
How many
expansions? You mean?
No, like how many units you can build? Like how many? Not number of units. The types of units you can build.
You could bring 8 types into a match.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like a deck building kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, my game got canceled.
That stinks, man.
It fucking sucks. I really, really enjoyed my time. Every time there was a beta of this, I was extremely looking forward to this coming out.
And even I, who does not play competitive matchmaking in RTS games, always skipped it. Was like, oh, this is much better because the stakes are so low, the time investment so low.
Yep.
And you have to it's all figured out within like 30 seconds of a match, how this is gonna go.
I really had a great time with this game, but straight from them, the returns from early testing were not strong enough to support continued development.
That's a real bummer.
Yep, it sucks.
And I know their press release out here kind of doesn't go into a whole lot of detail, but do you know if Uncapped is still going to keep going?
Not quite clear what the status is on stuff there.
But this is it for Battle Aces as far as we know, right?
Yep, game's dead.
Right, they're not shifting direction. They're not like...
Nope, just will not come out, which again, I mean, I know it costs money to run things. Like it's not viable to bring this out apparently, but like, man, I wish that some version of it was out there already.
It was going to be free to play, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
They ran betas and they made it progressively easier to get into those betas. You know, you could invite 5 friends or whatever.
Yeah.
I think you practically could just kind of sign up and get in by the end. So I'm sure they were able to gauge interests and found it lacking. Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
How far away from those betas do you feel like, aside from tuning and everything like that, but you could play matches, right?
That last one, I genuinely wondered if that last one was going to turn into the soft launch.
You could.
I really wondered if that one was going to be like, oh, this is a surprise. It's coming out of beta. Now it's just out.
I know this is not how business works, but I'm just going to fantasy say this. Do you think it would be cool or okay if they were like, look, we're just going to put it out for $10? It is what it is. The matchmaking servers are peer-to-peer. It's $10. We probably won't update anything or release the source code is probably not a business thing that would happen either. But, some version where they make some money back on it because all the free-to-play hooks are not going to be in it. And it seems like it was in some workable state. I don't know how the servers worked. Would you buy it? Or would you be like
100%?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't have to charge like $30 for it or $20, but maybe like $10, $5. Because when I played earlier on, I was a version or 2 behind. Seemed fairly substantial or polished.
Oh yeah. It was. I mean, they were still working on balance. There were new units in this last test, so it's not like they were anywhere near done. But it felt extremely playable.
Man, I just feel like somebody else is going to take this concept and make it work. Like it seemed like a concept that. I don't know. It seemed like it had legs on it,
I mean, I thought so, but I don't know if they couldn't make it. I mean, this game really played like StarCraft. Like it felt like it to me. Like my muscle memory just went right in. Like felt like I didn't skip a beat. So if they couldn't make it work, I don't know if maybe
who can.
I just don't know like what RTS's fortunes are these days.
Fortnite RTS. Well, that's Battle Aces.
Don't put that evil in the world.
No, I will not. I should just. Sorry, I'll can't retract it. It's recorded. Speaking of putting that evil out in the world, Randy Pitchford's back. I'm kidding.
No, you're
Randy.
not.
Yeah. Is Randy Pitchford a little bit?
He's not evil. He just sucks.
With punching bag sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be fair, it's a punching bag that has a big neon sign over it that says "Punch me." So I'm like, okay. Metaphorically.
Randy Pitchford, who Magic Zone magician, gamester, movie producer. I don't know what.
I mean, technically a producer, I guess, in that he owned the IP or was associated with the IP that got turned into a movie. Maybe one of the worst movies of last year, apparently.
Afflicted with a bit of foot and mouth disease. By I mean putting his foot in his mouth.
There's like a whole leg in there now.
Brad, what's going on with Randy?
Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
Might cost $80. We don't know.
Okay.
This is, I don't know, for me at least, this is less about Randy's awkward, clumsy comments about this and more just the fact that people are talking about it at all and nobody is just saying, no, that won't happen.
Right.
Like there is zero news that Borderlands 4 is going to cost $80.
But people are asking about it.
Somebody asked him on social media about it and he has not denied it. I mean,
he probably doesn't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. He says, not my call. He's kind of enough of this has come back on him that he has now posted a follow-up video of him on stage at some event. I'm not sure where, talking about this. And he flat out says, truth is, I don't know what the price is going to be. I do know that we will be opening pre-order soon, and that will be when the price is set. Kind of talks like the price decision is over his head. But he made a bunch of other comments to the effect of like, I paid $80 for Starflight on the Genesis in 1991 when I was working in an ice cream shop. If you really want it, you'll make it happen. Like, take all that stuff as you will. But the bigger point, like really the reason I threw this in here is like, how long has it been since Mario Kart World got announced at $80? Like a month and 6 weeks.
Roughly.
Here we are already now talking about like third-party games, and granted, Borderlands a pretty big franchise, but it's not Grand Theft Auto. And yet still here we are now in conversations about third-party, like.
Yep.
I'm trying to think how to describe Borderlands. I started to say like B tier, but that doesn't
No.
sound good either. That's not what I mean. You know what I mean?
It's a
like,
big third-party publisher franchise.
Yes, it is a big franchise, but it's not Grand Theft Auto. It's not Mario or Zelda. Like it's
the rung below that.
Like we're already talking. Well, the conversation about prices going up to get to $80 is broadening rapidly. Is really what I'm trying to say here.
Well, I think the thing you can take away from this and just a lot of the other conversations around this stuff is that all these publishers have basically just been waiting for permission to jack these costs up again. Like $70 for them was the compromise, but it was not enough. And with Nintendo Nintendo is one of the companies that it doesn't matter. They won't ask permission. They'll just do it because they're fucking Nintendo if they're going to do something. And if Nintendo is the one doing it, there's no other company on earth that would ever think twice about doing it once Nintendo is doing it regularly.
That's what it is. Although I will add to your Nintendo will do it if they want to thing is Nintendo will be weird about it because they're not unilaterally jacking everything up to $80.
Right.
Yeah.
So far it's just Mario Kart because Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70. Like it's like they're not even doing it universally, but yes, it's very much a domino falling thing, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody had to rip the Band-Aid off and Nintendo can get away with it, but now it feels like it's probably going to be every game that feels like it can get away with it.
Like they've been waiting for the one big company to get out there and be the punching bag for this news so they can all file in behind and be like, well, we're doing it too. Sorry, bye.
It's just where they are.
Mario Kart also has the thing of like, it's Mario Kart. Like it's everybody wants to buy it. You're probably going to play it for the next 10 fucking years. You know, it's maybe not 10 years. We'll get to that in a minute, but like you're probably going to play Mario Kart World for the duration of the Switch 2's lifespan.
Most likely.
Like that game is going to have legs. You will get $80 of value out of that over multiple years. Like every single other game that comes out, and you can't say that about.
I'm no ignorant fool that games cost more to make these days. I get it. Some of the stuff Randy says here about like, you know, the cost of games just have gone up. But it's because everybody shows up for Borderlands. I think he says something like you showed up for Borderlands 3 and that lets us make Borderlands 4 and that, you know, we increase the scope of the game. There is a little bit of like, well, the audience, you'll sell more copies. The game costs the same amount to make regardless of how many copies you sell, but you're probably reaching a broader audience, right? Like you said, Brad, Mario Kart is gonna every Switch is gonna have a Mario Kart, right? Or you know,
I mean, again, it is the bundle game if you are buying the bundle.
I'm being hyperbolic, but like you'll have economies of scale there, right? Like development costs go up, but the market is bigger, so you're gonna sell more of these things. My only problem really is like I don't know if I'm fully on the games need to be bigger bandwagon. Like sometimes I feel like an Assassin's Creed is just stuck in my head because it's one of those things churning in the background. It's like that game could be smaller. And I think we'd all be okay with that. I think the majority of people that I've talked to would be like, yeah, we could have a smaller Assassin's Creed out of the gate here. And if you told me, well, it's the difference between it being 80 hours and being 50 hours, and that equates to $10 on a game price, I would say make it 50 hours and sell a piece of DLC later on, for $15, whatever it is, because sometimes this tendency for games to bloat out like that, if that's the direction we're going in, and it's not just better assets, 4K assets, more artists, more stuff like that, voice actors are more expensive, which is all real cost, but making the scope bigger, I don't know. I don't know. And again, I think Borderlands will sell to more people, I assume, than Borderlands 4, than Borderlands 1, 2, or 3. Just because the name.
Well, they would like it to, certainly.
Yeah. He says here Borderlands 4 has more than twice the development budget of Borderlands 3.
Which again, that could mean a lot of things. Again, asset generation, voice acting, promotion, I don't know. Outsourcing of everything.
But the thing I will say, though, is I agree with you in principle as a player, as a person who buys video games and, has a limited amount of time in his life to play all the video games. I think you're 100% right. The problem is that is never going to be the perspective of the video game executive. Like, that is not the way they sell games. because they are able to say this is bigger, faster, stronger than the last one over and over again. That is the only way they know
the map
how
is 3
to sell
times as
sequels
big.
to big video games, to say, look at the bigness, look at how much bigger than the big thing you bought before was. And they are terrified of the idea of scaling anything back because they think that's going to make it seem lesser. It doesn't mean they're right. But what I'm saying is that has been the predominant marketing strategy of video games for 40 fucking years now. And I don't think anything's going to change that right now outside of the industry literally collapsing on itself from its own top heaviness.
And I'll just add this in because it's a little bit of the corollary to some of this stuff is, I'll pay 10 more bucks if the stories coming out of development are that these are all secure, well-paid jobs, right? Like there's we're seeing more and more collective action. We're seeing more unionization, but I would like to know that this money just isn't going into the pockets of 3 people at the top, right? And that's part of the cost of the return, right? When you budget these things out.
And again, I'll say, it's not that I think Randy Pitchford is 100% wrong here. I understand, like, things get more expensive. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of things happening here.
Yeah, he does mention tariffs on retail games as well.
Like, he's not without a point here, and I'm willing to give him that. The problem I have here is that he is extremely not considering the fact that, yes, there was a time when video games were randomly more expensive back then. Things were also kind of different economically back then for everyone. The kid working a summer job to buy his $90 video game is a little less of a thing now because everyone's fucking struggling for, basic needs and like ballooning expenses and everything else now. It's not the same frivolous economy from when you were a kid and you were buying video games.
I would push back on that even to say, not to necessarily disagree with all of it, but to say you had much more costs associated with the particular hardware you were putting that thing on.
Yeah.
And you had much fewer copies being sold, right? Like, to recoup costs, the reachable market for games was much smaller back then. And they just made a Borderlands movie.
Yeah.
A damn movie.
A piece of shit, but it doesn't matter. It still came out in theaters.
A major motion picture.
Kate Blanchett was in it, for God's sakes.
So, like, the market and the reach is so different.
Yeah. I bristle when people use their own childhood experiences as applicable now because they extremely are not.
Yeah. All right. But yes, I guess, Brad, you're saying, all right, ready for the $80 games? Because it sounds like they're coming fast.
Yep. Seems like it.
All right, look, Switch 2 news. I still check my inbox every day waiting for my...
You guys need to bite the bullet and just take one of those like offers that someone has given you. It's not going to happen.
I want my bite at the apple. I want Nintendo to reach out to me.
They are literally offering you apples. There are apples being handed to you.
Offer me an apple, but not yet. And I have to check my spam box, which is always a nightmare because then I look in there, I'm like, oh my gosh, spam still happens. Brad, we have more. We thought we were done with Switch news.
Yeah, still a few little tidbits.
What's
nothing huge here. Well, one thing that's kind of interesting.
What do you got?
Trying to decide. Well, I'll start with the Mario Kart thing because we were just talking about it. I mean, this is like barely news. It's just kind of an interesting little factoid. Nintendo's latest Ask the Developer interview. Talked to the programming director Kento Sato of Mario Kart World. I assume that means kind of like lead developer, or like. Programming director could mean a lot of things, but in this case, I think it means literal coding. Who has revealed apparently Mario Kart World started as a Switch 1 game. Since we were talking about Mario Kart 8 lasting you for the entire duration of a Switch, and also I think it's just kind of a relatively common question of like, where is the next Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Seems like that was in fact going to be a Switch game some years ago before they apparently made the decision in 2020 to transition it to Switch 2. So it's also just kind of there's a general timeline for you of how early they knew enough about what the Switch 2 was going to look like to start making plans for making games for it.
I mean, 8 Deluxe was always kind of a weird Switch thing, right? Like,
it was a Wii U game technically, but they built it out in such a way that it basically became synonymous with the Switch.
I mean, that's why it was weird. It was because it was a Wii U game and nobody bought a Wii U. So like Nintendo kind of had this whole stable of first-party games ready to go that nobody had ever played.
But it does also answer the question of like, where did that DLC come from? Like that giant batch of courses that they put out, which again, no beef on my part. It's kind of rad they did it. Not all those courses were great, but that's not the point. The point is that volume was there. But it also seemed like a weird move. I was like, why would you do this? Did you cancel a sequel and these were just courses you were already building for it? Like, what was happening? Now we understand.
Well, yeah, he mentions in here that putting all those courses out kind of gave them confidence to wait longer on the next game. But like, hey, good on them for, like he talks about, like there was a whole list of things they thought about trying to compromise to get what they wanted to make fit onto the Switch 1. Toning down visuals, lowering resolution, dropping frame rates. Like, sounds like I would assume the open world concept was there from the beginning, more or less. Like the bigger, more expansive game than they've made in the past. So like, good on them for not compromising that down to fit on old hardware, I guess.
I do like this end quote here, and I assume this is probably something to do with translation or something. But this last block here in this Video Games Chronicle story that says, I think there were a lot of people on the team who were worried about whether we could really manage it. And that's this game before it went to the Switch 2. And then they say, but once we decided to release this game on Switch 2, we expected our worries to evaporate all at once.
Mm.
I remember being overjoyed when I discovered we could express even more than we'd originally set out to do. It doesn't say our worries went away. Or like
we just expected them to.
The way that's phrased, and again, it's going to be a translation thing. We expected our worries to evaporate all at once, and just dying there. And like we were overjoyed when they did, or the power of the Switch 2 really made us realize our dreams.
I think that would be a Nintendo thing of you're saying too much now. You can't say that much.
This thing better run at 60 is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
otherwise you're going to have a lot of sad people out there.
It is the Switch 2 game I'm most excited about.
What's the second Switch 2 game?
I guess about? Donkey Kong.
Okay, that's still a ways out, right?
No, that's launch.
No, it's
I thought
July.
that was near launch.
It's not.
It's near launch. I mean,
okay,
it's like a month and a half.
All right.
Yeah. I think.
July 17th. So just about 6 weeks.
That's a window. I'll call that a window.
Yeah, that's launch window. 100%.
I mean, we're in it. It's what, a week away from this launch?
I just looked up my Best Buy order.
Yeah, and they can't
just to make sure nothing weird had happened. It's still there. Still says shipping by June 5th.
There you go.
I mean, on some level, I'm glad I didn't get a pre-order because I'm supposed to fly to Los Angeles that day. So it's like, what the fuck would I do?
I don't know.
There isn't. You would say, depending on who brought it, it could be sitting on the sidewalk outside this building.
Oh boy!
While I'm at the airport. That's
Switch 2 news. Oh, but that's not it.
Yeah, a couple other quick things. Koei Tecmo. I did not find the actual video. I just read some stories about it. But Koei Tecmo posted a video about the new Nobunaga's Ambition for the Switch 2, which has revealed that apparently, in addition to using the Joy-Cons as a mouse, you can also just plug a USB mouse into the Switch 2 and use that instead.
Apparently, you could do that on the original Switch.
So that was kind of mind-blowing to me reading the story, is that apparently Switch 1 had support for USB keyboards and mice, but because games basically never supported them, it kind of didn't matter. It was just academic, right?
Well, no, because there was one game they could have released that would support it, and that's Mario Paint.
They could have done Mario Paint all this time.
This whole time. They just decided.
Well, now they can do it now.
Yeah, that's true. But presumably a lot more games will have mouse controls on Switch 2, like they showed Civ 7 with mouse controls already.
They do seem like they're pushing it more.
Still think it's bananas that a Nintendo console seems to be the most mouse-friendly console in history.
I think it's bananas. We're talking about Nobunaga's Ambition in 2025.
That's breaking this USB mouse news.
Like, how much ambition can that guy really have?
Yes.
A lot.
Anyway, like that's cool. Yeah. If they make some like really mouse centric games and you don't like those Joy-Cons, you can just BYO mouse.
Yeah. I got a coffee table in front of me. I can play them that way.
Yeah. I'd like, I think this story even alludes to it. Somebody's going to get in the peripheral market here and make something that works for your lap, or,
probably
better. I hope.
A lap board of some kind.
Yeah. Just why don't you just dust off your Phantom lap board?
There we go. It should probably worth mentioning that this story about this on Video Games Chronicles does mention over and over USB mice, not Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Not paired.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, obviously it supports Bluetooth controllers. I don't know if you'd be able to pair a Bluetooth mouse or not. But I mean, there's a lot of wireless mice on the market that use a USB dongle for wireless that presents as a regular
interesting
USB HID to the system or whatever that would probably work.
That dock still has that USB A port, right? Or did they change it to a C on the back?
I'm pretty sure it has A in it.
Okay. All right.
And I'll mention really quick, we didn't really get into it, but like videos are starting to emerge of people with Switch 2s.
Oh.
They have started arriving in retail stores.
Or people are lifting them off out of the channel.
Okay.
Or whatever. Like one of those videos got taken down already. The big revelation there is apparently that day one patch thing is real. You can't play them yet. Like people are talking like you can't get past the setup process until you patch it.
There you go. That's one way to stop. Hold your street date.
Is the word out there, but anyway.
Do you think that patch literally just exists to make it so the consoles don't work until you get it?
Yeah.
Like I had that thought.
Of Mario Kart.
I genuinely had that thought, especially as skittish as Nintendo has been about piracy and emulation and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's like, honestly kind of a dark, ingenious move on their part.
Like I genuinely wondered if they're just trying to delay the inevitable as long as possible.
No one shall see the Mario Kart until launch.
They can't make the lockbox thing happen at a wide scale, so
go to your house and screw down your Switch. An Elden Ring movie?
Yes, this was rumored 2-3 weeks ago or something. It is in fact Alex Garland making an Elden Ring movie for A24. Your thoughts?
All right. So I was prepared to come in here and just be a full-on fucking hater, but I wanted to bolster my remembrance of like what Alex Garland stuff have I liked. And the thing is, if I'm taking actual batting average between screenplays and directing, he's batting like a solid 350, which is not terrible for a filmmaker.
Like Ex Machina is a very good film.
Yes. Annihilation, good. The screenplay for 28 Days Later, fucking banger.
Yes, like a lot of the stuff he's written is quite good.
The last 3 movies he's made, kind of dog shit, though.
What are they? Wait, what are they?
He made Men, which is, I did not see, but was by all accounts fairly terrible. I did see Civil War. That is no good.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, it is no good.
There are parts, but yeah, I'm with you.
And I've not heard great things about Warfare, the thing that is coming out this year that has gotten, I think, some early reviews. But my big thing with him is that he has interesting ideas sometimes. I think he writes some of the worst endings of any successful screenwriter. And I just don't know what he brings to a movie of this scope. This is a much bigger scope than anything he has tried to make before.
You think they go for an original Elden Ring story in this universe, or you think they try to?
I think you're doing at least some fan service at the bare minimum. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of tangents you could go off of to do a unique story, right? Like
yeah.
Who's going to play the Dung Eater?
Me.
Who's going to be the pot guy?
Mark Ruffalo.
All right.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Oh, the pot guy. Oh, got it. Okay.
Again, this is not a huge diss on Garland. There are plenty of things he's made that I like. I don't think of him as a high fantasy filmmaker. It's not what he does or has ever done. He's made some pretty occasionally heady sci-fi stuff, but I have never seen him go in deep into heady fantasy. And I don't think it's going to turn into Warcraft. I don't think he's that kind of filmmaker, but I do worry that it's just not going to hit the way anyone wants it to.
Says George R.R. Martin is a producer.
Of course he is. He will have his name attached to everything made by Elden Ring, whether he ever touches it or not for the rest of time.
Yeah, fair.
I think an animated series is what I'd like to see from Elden Ring, kind of like that Castlevania series and stuff.
Totally.
I think you could do some really cool visual stuff in there.
I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just not sure this is the pairing I would have gone with.
Gonna have your magical horse jumping around. I really do wonder if they just do something unique in that. It's going to be a lot of CG.
Yeah,
that's a lot of slimy, goopy monsters.
I mean, is there one core storyline of Elden Ring, or is it a lot of like crisscrossing and converging plot threads that kind of like add up to a milieu? You know what I mean?
Yes, both.
Okay.
You know? Like, yes, there's the main A plot, right? But along the way, you get kind of like all the other Souls games, you get all the tangents, like, oh, this person was related, this person did this person did this.
Yeah.
Which is some of the more interesting stuff.
I think the bigger problem is that, like, that is the kind of thing where the second you start getting too in the weeds about creating your big CG spectacles, you kind of lose the thread of what makes Elden Ring interesting, which is that it is dark and harrowing and kind of fucked up in a lot of ways. That's not a big budget CG movie. That is a movie with some big effects and some big monsters. But honestly, if I was to pick a filmmaker just off the top of my dome to do this thing, I would pick David Lowery, the guy who did The Green Knight. Like, that is the most analogous modern fantasy film, I think, to what Elden Ring is ostensibly trying to do, which is that it has a more of a haunted and sparse quality. I think that's something he would totally nail. I'm not saying, again, Garland can't do it. It just, I wonder if the needs of a blockbuster Elden Ring movie are going to supersede what would actually make that movie good.
I think you do a prequel before the fall, and you have all the characters that you're talking about in the game, kind of in a less blighted, environment.
Yeah.
And you set these characters up and have a little fun with it in a prequel. And people will go see that. Elden Ring fans, I'd go see that. All right. Finally here, Brad Shoemaker.
All right.
With the story, oh my gosh, hold on. I need to put 20 years in the making? I don't know.
Sure.
Ish.
Not quite, but close.
Close?
15-ish.
Okay.
Not even 15. 13.
It's getting shorter and shorter.
I mean, the Kinect era wasn't that long ago.
It feels like it. What is going on here?
All right. I'm going to draw on my recent experience listening to lawyers talk a lot.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Caravella, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you.
I'd like you to turn to Exhibit 734.
Oh, hold on a second. Okay.
Is that an Appendix A or B?
It's just,
that'll be in the binder marked Defense Number 3.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Effects work and everything.
Yeah. Okay. I'm there. I'm on the page.
Okay. Do you recognize this as a news article about a figure in the video game industry?
I do.
Was this article sent to you in the normal course of your duties as an employee of Nextlander?
It was.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, I would like to enter Exhibit 734 into evidence. Any objections?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Objection!
All right, Mr. Caravella, I'd like you to read paragraph 3 of Exhibit 734.
Paragraph 3, the one that begins with "he said."
That's correct.
He said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, firstly, when he did the demo, he was jumping all over the room." That one?
Yes. Go on.
Okay. "I'm a gamer. I don't want to play games standing up." Do I need to say the name?
Yes, please.
Molyneux recalled. "That's the first thing. It doesn't appeal to me. I want to sit back. I want to smoke what I smoke. I want to drink what I want to drink. And I don't want to prance around like a twat."
No further questions.
If it would please the court, could we get the witness to read it sexy?
Sexy Molyneux?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right, sidebar, Your Honor.
It's fine.
I don't know how to. It's been a while since the Molyneux was there.
This is a story. I'm just going to say it. This is a story about why Milo never came out.
The Peter Molyneux experiment in creating an AI child.
Peter Molyneux was at the Nordic Game Conference and did a Q&A where somebody asked him, "Hey, what happened to Project Milo? Remember
Yeah.
that thing? The poor child trapped inside a Kinect for all time."
The story linked on Video Games Chronicle linked the demo. I forgot how long that demo was.
It's pretty long.
Yeah. Anyway, this is just an all-timer of a Molyneux quote.
It's pretty good.
"That's the first thing. It doesn't appeal to me. I want to sit back." It's a little Ringo now.
I was going to say,
getting
Beatlesy. Liverpool here, but
"I want to smoke what I smoke." Yeah, I don't know. I want to prance around like a twat.
I want to
I
smoke what I
believe he
smoke.
would say that.
I want to drink what I want to drink, and yes. Anyway,
it's either a Molyneux quote or like some like good rap quote, right? Like you're going to smoke that shit, drink that shit, and prance around. Is okay. How offensive is twat every time we say it?
I don't know.
Extremely.
I mean, it's not a nice word.
Okay, I just want to make sure because we've said
I
it
think
quite
the
a bit.
British are a little more akin, like apt to use it randomly. Let's just say, maybe the way they use the word cunt on a regular basis.
I was gonna say, is this one of those like UK cultural permission things where like, hey, they say it all the time? It's fine, right?
I'm just reading the quote.
They say it 3 times before 12 p.m.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, look, Milo was a thing that was a dream that was never going to happen. And this story is kind of fascinating because he goes on to say
he lays out completely sensible reasons why this wasn't going to work.
I mean, he basically talks about like he thought the Kinect was kind of dumb when he saw it, but also the version that finally shipped was like so downgraded from what they had prototyped.
Yes,
like was it he says in here like he
said it scanned like almost the entire room.
Like the prototype that they showed him originally that he got excited about would have cost $5,000 if they had brought it to market. So like the thing that eventually came to market was like a shitty, like pale shadow of what they had proposed, which like fine, sure, but also it's Molyneux.
Yeah,
I don't think shitty Connect downgrades stopped you from getting Goddess finished.
Well, I think he goes on to say something like, we wanted this experience, this interactive experience, and then once they downgraded everything, I'm paraphrasing it. Once they downgraded everything, it wound up being jumping around the room stuff. That was the biggest stuff. All the
party games and dance games and sports games.
That's right. Not the vision I had, which was watch a child grow. I think what does he say? Any person who's had a child knows how special that is, right? To just watch something grow. And that's really what I wanted.
So has he been watching that child grow for the last 15 years, or is that thing stuffed into a box somewhere?
Let Milo out.
Where is Milo? That's the thing the story does not address. Where is Milo now?
Let Milo out. He does say that demo, or I'm not making this up, right? Was it in this article where he says we had to cheat with the AI?
Because they didn't have any of the same stuff that we have now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's never been a better time to Milo it up, baby.
I would maybe disagree with that.
You want to put a little child in a box and go fishing or whatever this woman does with that child?
I mean, unless you want that child to buy you something from Amazon, I don't think it's actually this is the time, because that's really all these voices are good for. Is do you want me to open an Amazon link for you?
I just want just buy something, won't you? Just please. They don't feed me unless you buy something. Buy more.
They won't make me a real boy until you buy this shit.
Buy 5. No, 4. Oh, please.
Just one more if I make my quota.
Please, buy again. Come back. Oh, don't cancel it. Oh, please, no.
They're going to take my kneecaps.
When you turn this off. Milo.
Oh, Molyneux.
Oh, Molyneux.
This is what he should be doing now, by the way, is just doing the conference circuit and just talking completely out of pocket shit about shit that never happened and never making a thing again.
Yes, just reflecting comically on the many ups and downs of his career.
Is this thing still happening? That that Not Fable game that he showed off?
Yeah, they haven't said anything about it since last year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Look. You know what I think about this in the end? In the end, you smoke what you want to smoke. You drink what you want to drink.
They play how they want to play. The Addams Family.
Da-da-da-da. Twat, twat.
I was thinking more the Hammer song, but yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay,
different era.
Good. Yeah, same page though. All right, that's it for the news.
Mm-hmm.
No, to be clear, Milo's not coming back. This is not a
nope.
Yeah,
that child is locked in a basement for the rest of his life.
I think somebody felt bad when they turned Milo off. Like,
I fucking hope so.
Yeah. All right. Maybe they never did. That's going to do it for the news. That's going to do it for the games. Emails, Brad. Let's get a one or two here.
All right. Here's a quick one. Please don't use my name if you read this on the podcast.
It will not do.
You mentioned the end of quarter purchase of TVs to spend the remaining CapEx budget that time at GameSpot.
Yeah.
I am a project manager at a pharmaceutical company. In October last year, I was told that we had $3 million left over in CapEx that needed to be spent, and everything had to be delivered by the end of the year.
Okay, this is at the end of the year. Yeah.
So that's like 3 months tops to spend $3 million.
It's like Brewster's Millions.
In the end, I was able to spend over $2.5 million on equipment and other items for the company.
Hot damn.
It was the hardest I have ever had to work, but it was also kind of fun to basically be Santa Claus and buy all the exciting equipment everyone needed.
Oh yeah, that's a fucking awesome way to work yourself to death, honestly.
That sounds extremely fun.
You basically get to be the guy running the Nickelodeon toy run.
Kind of, yeah.
What do you want? No, make it bigger. Get the bigger one.
Right. Get the 77-inch.
What if you got 3 of them?
Yeah, what if you had 4 monitors?
Yeah.
I don't really need this pharmaceutical industrial grade mixing machine. 3 of them? You got it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's go. Yeah. Budgets.
Aren't they weird?
Corporate budgets.
Yeah, like we all got a little taste of that during the pandemic when companies started shifting some of the budget to us to buy stuff for home. Remember that?
I bought some gear. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hate it. I just did not. If the CBS was fine, Red Venture's part, the way they did it was not as fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The other part that's always fun, just while we're here, is you mentioned that it has to be here by the end of the year because it needs to be taken in by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Usually,
that's always the weird one to me. It's not that the purchase doesn't have to just be completed by a specific time.
It has to be received and like ingested, basically. And that would always be tricky because some stuff would be delayed, or like sometimes the fourth quarter budgets wouldn't be done until beginning of December or something like that. And then it'd be like, oh my gosh, you have to ship it. Can we just have this come? What if this comes in? And it's not the end of the year. It's really the end of the work year, which would be for GameSpot was and accounting at CBS is like, I don't know, December 20th, right? So you're like, oh my gosh, get it in here now. Accounts receivable needs this, or whatever it is, payable, receivable. Anyway. Budgets. Another email?
Travis and Fargo, the question master returns.
Oh, hi.
At what point do you honk your horn?
Never.
Thought I'd throw that in there because of the car talk at the top. I'm not sure if I've ever honked my horn in anger at anyone.
Anger or like alert?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, you could definitely use it for, in fact, that's probably the more noble use of the horn is to wake somebody the fuck up before they cause an accident.
It's somebody backing out of a thing or throwing their car into reverse or something like that, and you're not sure if they see you, gets a toot toot.
Yeah, I might have done that once or twice, actually.
I'm not a horn leaner, and I try never to use it if I don't have to. But yeah, if someone is cutting out in front of me, at an intersection, if they are cutting me off in traffic, I will usually give a one firm bah, and that's it. If it is someone slow in front of me that isn't moving at a light or whatever, it's just a little dit. That's it.
Yeah. If they're like zoned out.
The only time I will straight up fucking lean on my horn, I've only ever had to do this once, was when someone parked their car in front of my driveway.
Oh.
And I could not find them. Yeah, no, at my old apartment.
Oh, wow.
So I was trying to get my car out from behind the building.
Someone
had just jammed their car on the in front of the sidewalk, like where the driveway was. There's a big sign that says "Do not block driveway." They did not care, so I definitely honked a little bit because I went to some of the businesses around, couldn't find the person. I was just like, "Hey,
yeah." Did they come out?
Nope.
What'd you do?
I sat there on my hood and waited for them to come, and I yelled a little.
Did they apologize?
They apologized. Another time.
Oh man. Okay.
When I didn't honk my horn. Was a night I came home during one of the most horrible torrential downpours we ever got in Queens, and someone had again blocked my driveway, so I could not park my car behind the house, so I had to park several blocks away and run home in the pouring rain. And I was determined the next morning to find those people when they woke up and talk to them.
Yes.
And I did, and they didn't even apologize.
What were they like? Whatever, man.
They were just like, oh, yeah, no, it's, there wasn't anywhere to park. And I was like, Yeah, I know, because I had to go park my car to Helldivers from here and run home in the rain. And they were just like, yeah, whatever. I was like, don't ever fucking park your car here again.
Oh my gosh.
Can you just call the tow company at this point?
I didn't, because I wanted to confront them.
But you can, right?
You can. And I talked about doing it. And they were like, we can't tell me not to park here again. And I leaned down into their window and I said, if you ever park your car here again and I see it, I'm going to fuck your car up.
What did they say? They
just nervously laughed and then drove off.
Oh my God. I mean, you must have been pissed.
Let me tell you right there, that was the first time I ever felt like I might make good on a threat like that.
Oh, wow.
I was that close to running upstairs and getting a baseball bat and just hitting their fucking taillight. I was that mad.
And you had a spot, like a reserved spot for your
behind
apartment?
the building. Yeah, it's not even in front of the building. It was like I just couldn't get to my driveway.
Oh, that sucks so much.
I don't make threats almost ever. That was the most I've been pissed off at anyone in probably like 25 years.
I get it, man. That is beyond the pale.
Yeah. Because like you got this thing you probably pay for as part of your building, and like
The guy who apologized, fine. I was like, yeah, just please don't do that again. Then it was like, okay, it was good. We were good.
All right. Follow-up question to this: you pull up in front of somebody's house. They're not outside waiting for you. Do you do a toot on the horn, or do you
maybe just like a little? That's it.
I guess now you'd probably text somebody.
Yes,
right?
you would definitely text them.
Yeah.
Unless it's like an elderly person who you can't trust to like have a cell phone at the ready. I think that's what you probably do.
And I have only ever owned one car in my life. It was a 94 Civic, but the horn on that thing was so anemic that I was like reluctant to use it.
Yeah. You were embarrassed you had
there was something
little horn chain?
A little bit of a nasally quality to that horn. Not really, really just did not feel very authoritative.
I'm almost okay. So I'm a little the opposite. In my town, there is a traffic problem here, especially in the mornings. It's one of those cut through towns where people cut through to get to the bridge. So they back up and the traffic backs up and they block intersections and a lot of horns going off. If I have a little air horn, and somebody beeps their horn, can I just go up to their window and blast an air horn at them, and then just follow them down the traffic road and be like, "What's wrong? This is." You just need to move. You just need to move out of the intersection.
I don't know if that's the way I would go.
You saying it's wrong?
I'm not going to say you can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not telling you
Can I get arrested for doing that?
And that's definitely legal advice.
There is such a thing as noise pollution. There are laws against it.
What if they did it first? You beep first. They drew the horn first. That's my Rambo.
I don't think first seas necessarily applies in court.
There are people who just lean on their
Rambo first honk.
Mm-hmm. Rambo first honk. Yes, first honk. There are people that will be in that intersection just lean on, just a full lean on the horn, even though they got caught blocking the intersection because the other cars can't magically evaporate and move, and that drives me up a wall as I'm walking around that town. Use your horn lightly, folks. Use it lightly. Any more emails?
Why don't we call it there?
Okay. That's going to do it for the emails. You can send them into podcast@nextlander.com. 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 You'll never hear us honk at you for giving us your support.
That's right.
You're welcome to anytime at patreon.com/nextlander. Come. The roads are open and free and clear to all of this stuff on our Patreon, like the Ramblecast, like Never Been a Better Podcast. That'll go up this Friday. I realize that one will be a little bit dated as we talk about some of the New Jersey transit strike that happened that resolved, but that's the magic of editing, folks. Mm-hmm. That's how it happens. Watchcast stuff. We are finishing up our music movie month.
It's done.
It's done. It's it. Moving into Alex Navarro.
Star Trek Summer.
Season 2 of the original Star Trek run begins next week over on the Patreon. And if you aren't aware,
we did do season 1 at the very beginning of the Watchcast some years back. It has been a while since we've visited Kirk and the gang. Okay. But now we are here and we are doing it.
Okay, ready? I'm tingling with excitement, but Brad, have you seen season 2 of the original series?
Like ever or now? Like
ever?
No, not really. No.
Alex, you have?
I've seen the majority of episodes of Star Trek. There are probably a few in this season I haven't seen.
What's an episode that a title or theme that you remember that I can look forward to here? That's like, okay.
Episode 1, if you hadn't watched it yet, is an infamous episode.
Infamous, but also like a classic in its own right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew it by name, even though I'd never seen it. Like when I saw that was coming up, like, oh, that episode, huh? Like
that's what we're opening the season with. Yes, Amok Time is the name of this episode.
Getting into the Pon Farr right off the bat.
Yeah, Vulcan lore is coming up.
Okay.
This is also the Tribble season. That's later, but that's coming.
Is this the final season, or is there a season?
No, there's one more after this.
Which one has the mirror universe people?
That's this one.
Oh man, this sounds like it's going to be full of some
That's
bakers.
the next episode.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Okay, good. I don't know any of these. I only know them by their cultural cachet,
Yeah.
Like where they fell through osmosis. Okay, very exciting. So check that stuff out. That's over on patreon.com/Nextlander. Like I said, we'll have Never Been a Better podcast, hopefully going up Friday. We'll have the Watchcast going up Monday with Star Trek. You can go backlog all of that stuff. It's all there for you, along with the video Ramblecast, a bunch of other stuff that has been on the Patreon side for ages now, aging like fine content should over there. And then next week we should have Planorama going up. And then this week also, for people that are engaged over on the Discord side of things and other patron benefits, we'll have a Q&A on Thursday. So tune in for that. And you can leave your questions for the Q&A over on the Patreon. There's a channel there, the patron Q&A Dropbox, I believe it is called. So look for that. You can leave us a question. We'll scoop those up, answer those Qs with our A's. It's all happening here, folks. Patreon.com/Nextlander. That's me clapping. There is one tier there, though, over on the Patreon, that gets their names read on this here show. Now, we appreciate any support, but this tier, that's the Mysterious Benefactor tier. And Alex Navarro, would you name our Mysterious Benefactors? Just call them out. They've agreed to this for this week.
I think I can make that happen. I believe our Mysterious Benefactors for this week are Sean Miller. Zach regrets saying he'd platinum every Borderlands game. RRE. Alpha Rhythm. Infelicitous Rips. David L. Kelly F. Horizon Light Lighting Control Solutions. Skywarp. Jason Grimm. John Hubbard. NXL Retirement Fund. Evan Cook. Mark Wilhelm. Jerry Lee. Deirdre thinks the monster train should also be a monster. Gary Pejsky. Pugtato thinks Indie Giant Bomb is pretty cool. Bunny Meme. Jad Rita. Statics. Brian Murphy. Randy Duax. Randy Alderson. Andrew Tiepkin. Alex Wu. It Me JP. Edward Chick. Andrew Slosky. Steve Lynn. Matthew Herrig. David Campos. And Tyler Treese.
Thanks to all our Mysterious Benefactors, and thanks to everyone who has supported us. Again, patreon.com/Nextlander. If you missed it, you should go check it out. Who is Abby? We tried to answer this question on Tuesday with one Abby Russell.
She would know.
You think she would?
I think what we came to conclude is that it was probably AI.
No,
Abby is probably AI.
Look, some assets may have been generated, but that voice acting was real.
After a fashion.
The game that caused Alex to say, maybe making games has become too easy.
I did, in fact, say that at one point during that.
Maybe we have.
Maybe we should gatekeep more.
Gone too far. Who is Abby, the adventure game who answers all the questions? You can go check that out on Tuesday. I had fun. Maybe we'll come back to that to wrap that up. I'm not sure how long that game is. I'm not sure that game knows how long it is.
Yeah.
You can check that out. We do have a Patron's Choice poll going up. Again, we put Night Rain on it. And from what it sounds like, maybe Night Rain is winning. But maybe we come back and we do, maybe we do some Battlefield 2 next week. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like a good time. Maybe if the heat's still on Battlefield 2.
Or Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2. Well, maybe play Battlefield 2 as well.
Yes.
all the fronts and fields.
Of course, next Friday is the Summer Game Fest stuff.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that might be the
forgot.
thing. And also, I'll be traveling that day. So
And also Switch.
yes, and the Switch also coming
Oh my
out that
gosh.
day. By the way,
Alex, when are you supposed to get your Switch?
It says it ships by June 5th as of right now. So
And what's June 5th?
that is the day it
Thursday?
comes out.
No, is that a
Thursday?
Friday? Is it
That's
Thursday?
It's a Thursday.
right?
All right. Well, maybe there's a, if all things go as planned, maybe there is a Switch 2 launch stream on a Friday in our plans here. So,
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, if it shows up on Thursday, maybe there's one on Thursday.
yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll keep an eye out on your tracking as
When
developing
an
story.
item appears in my hands, you will know about it, and we will figure out the fastest possible way to do something with it.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to download some stuff. Let's just
Yeah,
say.
but hey, maybe we turn that into content. Watch me download stuff.
yeah.
That's what we do now, right? We just turn everything into content. Check out my loading bar.
Yeah, even if it's the next day, you should just sit on it and wait and do the setup on stream.
Oh boy. So yeah, we'll figure that out. That's a next week problem.
Yes.
This Friday we'll be playing whatever the patrons choose. So look for that. Next Monday, I don't know. Maybe we're going back into Fortnite. We'll see. We got Will back in here.
Yeah.
Brad, maybe show off some of your cool Fortnite skins. We'll see what happens there. But thanks everybody for supporting us. Thanks for keeping us going. Patreon.com/Nextlander. Alex and I next Friday, he slowly said. I think that's when opening night live or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We'll be talking over that while Brad gets ready to travel or is physically in the air. I don't know exactly what your air time is.
Probably
but
be down there by then.
down there. Hopefully everything is fine with Brad's departure from there. Whew. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
These are the
Shorter-
days, people.
Shorter E3.
Yeah.
You know. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Alex Navarro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad Shoemaker.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back next week.